Hey, I'm coming on here. Hold on. Hi, guys. How's everybody doing? Hanging in there? Stressing out, are you? There's my fur baby. Fur baby. So, I got an array of things for us to watch and bounce around and see what everybody's talking about and how what everybody's thinking. And let's just see how crazy Nancy Pelosi is taking this election because she's off in left field singing her own tune. Believe that. Um, I have family over, and my fur babies are females, and her fur babies are males. They're both 6, and they're both not, they've never been fixed. None of them, because we've never had a reason to. We've always, there was some health issues that came along with fixing them, and we didn't. Well, now they're here, and they happen to be here at the same time, and they don't want to, they don't want to be apart. So you may see the fur baby most of the night staring at the door because she wants to go out with her boyfriend. Hi, John. Hi, BC. How you guys doing? All right. So I got a whole ton of stuff. We're going to have fun. I got lots of things, lots and lots and lots of things. Yeah, googly eyes through the door. No babies, as my wife says. Hi, that's needed. Sorry, guys, I'm a little late. I know, you know me. If I wasn't fashionably late, I wouldn't be Kate. The 420 session lasted a lot longer than I planned. Puffy's in here too? How'd I miss Puffy? I should have worn this one today, the way they were all crying, losing their damn minds, right? Hey, Tara. How's everybody doing? Fur babies, fur babies. One of them. What is up with this chair? There. Okay, I'm about to sit on the floor. Aw, thank you. I got all my Trump gear on. I got my Lucky Trump coin, my 2020 coin. I'm going to town. So, ready? Let's watch. Because I was looking at some stuff to get ready for you guys, and I just thought, what in God's name is Nancy Pelosi talking about? But we'll get there. Hold on. I got it all set up. We're going to start with my bud. Now, remember, I have to try to kind of like skip around and talk. Oh, yeah, right. Georgia scared you for a minute, didn't it? Not me.
Florida.
Here we go.
That's a big one. Everyone was acting like Florida was up for how many times? Reg, the bandit. How many times did you hear me say
Crowder, y'all.
Florida?
Steve
Everybody
Crowder.
believed Florida was a swing.
Shout out for
Steve.
Steve.
And Ohio is not a swing state. I've told you guys. Ohio, Florida, and Iowa are. I would be more surprised if
Linda,
Florida
how's
went
Linda?
blue than Texas. I don't think Texas is going blue.
No, so hold on. Let me say one more thing about Nancy.
I know,
You remember
Sarah.
earlier,
It's a
you were
little
like,
scared.
"Oh, no,
Listen.
we're gonna dig into it."
Listen. I'm promising you guys, this is gonna go on for longer than most of us remember. Like most of us weren't old enough, not only not old enough to vote, but don't really have a good memory of the Bush Gore election and how that played out and the hanging chads and how really, in all honesty, if you want to go back and play funny business with it, some could say Gore won, and because they beat down Gore's support, they made us all, not us because I wasn't old enough to vote, but they made his support feel so defeated by the time that the court cases were being dealt with. You guys, he didn't have anyone standing for him. Us, I was talking about that with my family earlier, and they even said, Trump supporters, we don't give up like that. We're not giving up. We're not going to back down no matter how much you try to pretend and try to beat it in our head that Biden is winning, but we're only going to announce it if Biden, what are you talking about? Some of this craziness I've heard tonight, I've never, ever in all my life heard. However, I do remember that election, and it was the first election where I felt like where everything started to go wrong. You know what I mean? It kind of just started to go wrong. And the whole election process where they started changing the rules of things. So let's see. Here we go.
Look, we got to look at this data. Let me just read you Nate Silver's tweet. The big split in mail versus election day votes just makes election night harder. Like, I think the Midwest sort of looks decent for Biden, but it's very hard to know much definitively unless you've really done a lot of needle-like analysis on exactly what type of votes are in. If only there was a stream.
If there was only a source. If only there were a stream. Are you guys telling me that I need to bring now?
No.
Okay, not right now. So let's show your maps then first. Okay, Gerald, let's see Gerald's map, and then let's see Bill's map. And who here has a map?
I do.
All right, well, let's cycle through. Let's see yours really quickly. You have to show them to the camera, or do we have them digitally?
I just have
Oh, okay. Okay, that's how you have it looking. No, that's not the right way to do it either.
Yes, Puffy, I love his changed my mind. He has changed so many people.
Thank God he wasn't.
He's made so many people really
a couple of
think.
different ones. Okay, so
Quick pause so we don't get a copyright strike. Puffy, as for Crowder, the last one he did on Black Lives Matter, it showed the derangement that is going on, or not the Black Lives Matter, excuse me, on Trump saying find people on both sides. He literally asked them all these questions. They said, you know, that was their reason why they thought he was racist. He said, well, what if Trump agreed with you and said, you know, that he didn't include the KKK and the white supremacists, and he basically just played the clip the rest of the way through, and then suddenly those same people who said they had never seen that before, and if he had said that then they would have thought different of him. Suddenly they were like, well, that really doesn't make me think a whole lot different. What? Wait a minute, like this is how deranged you are. You literally just said if he had denounced KKK and white supremacy at the time that he said that comment, you would have never called him racist. Now they're showing that he did, and they also show another 92 times that he denounced white supremacists and racists, and yet that's just not enough. I swear Trump has had to denounce white supremacists and racists and KKK and neo-Nazis more than every single president in history added together. And somebody someday will prove that out to be the fact. Mark my words.
Gave him Australian risk.
So I don't have Trump.
Here, I'm going to skip a little.
Evening.
Here we go.
Of course, keep us updated, Reg the Bandit, as things unfold. But we actually have our correspondent. Let's hold on that. Our correspondent, Thomas Finnegan, who you know, he does our morning traffic updates. Yeah. We actually sent him out to polling stations today to kind of get a unofficial exit polling. So let's go to Thomas Finnegan out in the world.
Well, Stephen, I was on my way out to Waco to ask some people who they're voting for. My car broke down, so now I'm here in Travis County, and I'm looking for some folks to ask some questions.
Oh, well, we hope that you stay safe. I don't really know if that's the best way to fix your car, but you plan on asking some people out there today, right?
Steven,
you plan on asking them about their votes?
Too. I can't quite.
Well, sure,
Here's some folks. I'll go ask them.
Okay, well,
Right, but
Who you voting
you guys got to understand Biden, that whole New York thing,
Yeah,
that just
I don't
pisses me
know.
off. Hold on, I'm going to show you right now.
Nah, well, it
Numbers.
doesn't end well.
Here, let me show some numbers here. Real quick. Take a quick break and I'll give you what I got. I just want you guys to understand what's going on a little bit for those of you who are new with this or those of you who are a little scared, who are a little bit nervous. Okay. You got, like, first of all, here we go. Let me press. All right, so there's no sound on this one, which is perfect. I love it. Fox News, just numbers, no bullshit. 129 Biden. However, I want you guys to understand some things. The states that Biden has already been, it's been already called for Biden, he's in trouble. Okay, because you've already, other than California, he doesn't have a whole lot of room to move left. You know what I mean? Okay. Pennsylvania and Florida goes our way. We're good. Yeah. I mean, I'm in New York, honey. Yeah. It's 9:03 here in New York. So we're pretty much wrapped up. What pisses me off is, like, I really felt if it wasn't for New York City, this whole state would have went red. I'm telling you that truthfully. I feel like there's so many people who are afraid to be honest about their feelings, black, white, and in between. None of us can be honest because we're so afraid of being assaulted in our own grocery stores and our own polling places as I was. So anyway, let's talk. 129 Biden, 94 Trump. That's not, I mean, Trump has really got a lot of moves left. Texas, Florida. Georgia should have been called for, I believe. Let me skip around. And even though this is live, I believe Georgia might have been called. So I'm going to just kind of hop around and see what we get. And here we go. Let me turn the volume up on this.
Million votes are left to count. As you can see here, the breakouts.
Oklahoma is going to Trump.
1.3
Tennessee
of the
to Trump, obviously, yep.
Mike DeWine basically said half the vote was early and half the vote was expected
Governor of
today,
Ohio.
Governor of Ohio, on election day. So, but let me just tell you one of the other things we have. If he's going to win Ohio, if Joe Biden's
No,
going
he's
to make a
not.
comeback in Ohio,
No way.
he's going to have to flip a whole bunch of what we call the Obama-Trump counties.
Right,
All of
and that's
these
not
counties
happening.
here
Look at all the
are
counties that have not been
trending
turned in yet. Don't worry, guys,
Florida
relax.
trending Biden.
Yeah, oh, they called Florida
So,
Trump? Okay, I haven't got to
we
that
can
yet,
see
honey.
here
Thank God
Wood
they did.
County,
Thank
small
God.
County here. This is right now, but you can see
We
Trump
need Texas, we
narrowly
need,
carried by 8
I
points.
believe we already got Wisconsin. We need
Third-party vote
Texas
here.
and we need
Ton of
Pennsylvania.
third-party vote in Ohio did really well. Johnson did much better there, but as you can see, this is
In
a county
Ohio. I would really,
that
I want him to take all three.
Obama
Take all three
carried.
swing
Biden hasn't
states.
caught his
Shove it
number
right in
there,
their
but he's getting
ass.
close, and he's
Don't
obviously
even
gonna
give it to him
outperform
nicely. Not just the
Obama
tip.
twice.
I want you to
I'm gonna be
ram it
monitoring
all the
all
way
of these
in.
Obama Trump counties, particularly in Ohio, because the only path for Biden to somehow pull the
Sorry,
Ohio
but-
upset is if he's going to take most of
It's
these
how I'm feeling right about
counties
now.
that Trump carried.
Oh,
and
you
flip
know it.
most of them, if
You
not
know
all
it.
of them, back to
Because
work.
you know what's crazy is back in the day. Hi, Nikki. I'm so sorry. I swear, I promise I'm going to
All
get,
this
once this is
year,
over
it's
tomorrow,
been interesting.
my
He's
life will
been
be back to
ahead,
normal
but
and
the
I am all
margins have been
yours.
smaller.
All yours.
It's been a little bit of older
Right.
voters.
No
There is a
freaking
bit
loop. And
of
don't even
Joe
spit on
Biden.
it.
It
Don't
plays
even
a little
spit
bit
on
better in
it.
Ohio than maybe
Do it
any
raw.
other Democrat that had run for president.
5148 Florida called for Trump. 29. Good, good, good. Good, good. Hi,
Trump now
Angel.
officially leading in Florida.
She's like, no,
29
leave.
electoral votes are watching there. Chuck.
Okay.
I want to go to Kristen,
Yeah, no,
who's at Biden headquarters. Hey, Kristen.
I
what's the
can't
talk
stand
there
her.
as Florida starts to slip out of their hands.
Bye-bye. That's what the thought is.
Well,
Bye-bye.
acknowledging that, Savannah, and I'm
Trump's gonna
told
take Alabama.
by officials that they're in a wait and
Biden's
see
not gonna get
mode,
Alabama,
but
no
they
way.
Still feel very confident about their
Trump
path
just took
to
Arkansas,
270.
projected.
And look, we go back to this idea that they fought hard for
A little
Florida,
rough. I know,
but
BC.
didn't
It's been
need
a long
Florida
day. Did you
in
see what they
order
did to me? I'm
win.
feeling a
There are
little
number of other
violent.
paths, but the question
the first
is,
time
what
I've ever
does this
felt like
potentially
that.
mean about Georgia, about
They
North
really brought
Carolina? I
out,
put that
like, the
question to a
worst
campaign
in
official
in
said
who I am.
Not a whole lot. Look, they think
Bridget.
the electorate is unique in Florida for all of the reasons that you've been talking
Well,
about.
good. I'm glad
particularly
you're here. We're
in
gonna
the
hop around
Miami-Dade
and have a
area. They
little,
think that the
see everybody
president's
have a
attacks
little
trying to
fun.
characterize Joe Biden as socialist stuck. Obviously,
Oh, you
that's a
know they're gonna cry
characterization
about that
he would
popular
reject
vote shit.
outright.
Hello.
But one top
I don't think he's
Democrat
gonna
said
win it.
They still feel very solid about their chances in Georgia and North Carolina. Now, what if they don't win either state? Well, officials tell me that is okay because Joe Biden still has a path to 270 without winning those two states. He
Oh,
would
really?
need to win Michigan and Wisconsin.
And he's never gonna win Michigan. And
Wisconsin
Wisconsin's already called for it. Hold on.
More than any
I just saw something with Wisconsin's already called
That's
for
why he
it.
was there again today in Scranton, in Philadelphia. really
Look.
trying
Oh, it's
to
Wyoming.
draw
I'm sorry,
the
guys.
vote in
I misspoke.
Philadelphia,
It was
in the
it
suburbs.
wasn't
Of course,
Wisconsin. It
that
was
part of the
Wyoming that
Obama
was called
coalition
for.
that did not turn out in
Wisconsin is
Florida
still out.
2016. He needs it
So we
if he's
need
gonna
Wisconsin,
put that victory
PA,
in
Florida's
over
called for. We need our
Pennsylvania,
Texas. We need.
All right, let's bring in Hallie Jackson right now.
How do they call Colorado already, guys? Colorado is literally counting votes until the 12th.
That's a really interesting state.
Do you see how fraudulent these Democrats are?
Here had been feeling confident about the way that was going to go.
Thank you. How are 38% of votes only reported in Virginia and they're already calling it for Biden? Exactly. So because your polls are open till 11 and they want to make sure that a couple thousand more people don't show up at those polls because they think there ain't a damn chance in hell for their candidate.
What we're seeing in some parts of Ohio,
That's
what we're
the
looking for
election
there.
suppression
We've
that
also
I
got
talk
the
about.
state, as
Like
Kristen was
when you're
talking
trying
about
to
the Biden
intimidate me
campaign,
by
Pennsylvania.
breaking my
That is
morale.
actually the place where President Trump campaigned more than anywhere else. And I can tell you that there are some counties.
Michigan
that
is
the
not
team
going
is
to
looking at
Obama. I
tonight.
can
So
promise
Dauphin
you
County,
that.
For example, that's kind of in the central eastern part of
You
the state.
really
where
got to
Harrisburg,
hold on for
you've got some of those collar
we need him to get
counties
all
right
three
around
swing
Philadelphia,
states,
Bucks
guys.
County,
The
Chester County, Montgomery
at least
County,
get
they're looking at
PA,
Erie County, for
Wisconsin.
example, in the western part of the state,
We
more
got
sort of
Florida. We got
rural
Texas
area,
coming.
an
Why
area
is
where
Georgia not
President
coming up? I thought
feels
somebody
confident.
just
He
said they
spent
called
so
Georgia,
much time
didn't
in
they?
that
Hold on,
state
let's check some
because
other
it is
stuff out.
critically important. Another state the president has spent a lot of time in is North Carolina. I was just there yesterday, actually, in Fayetteville, and I can tell you that folks in President Trump's orbit are looking specifically
All right, hold on.
at some
I'm
of
gonna
those. If we
mute
could
this
go
one
back to
for a
that big
minute.
board, when we do, those counties still in gray,
heck?
right around Raleigh, Durham, right? Because that is going to be really important. You can see I'm there, still in white here. Joe Biden needs to do well there. They're wondering what the margins are
There
going
it
to be.
is.
A lot of eyes on North Carolina here. And then the other state that I'll mention is Georgia, too.
There we go. Shut up, lady. Okay, let's go over here and check out CNN because that was on NBC.
Republican revolt, women. We'll watch the women votes
Go
done with the
live.
gender gap at the end of the night. But if you're coming in here now, let me just turn this off as we.
We go live so we can get
Before-
updated. Here we go.
That's where you want to be. You want to be on top whenever, but we do have a ways to go. But if you watch this map play out, I just want to go back.
It's not
a
happening.
lot different, right? But just watch where you see a little bit more blue when you're in here. You see it up here in the suburbs. You see it up here along the lake. Again, suburbs outside of Toledo. This is where the Democrats are doing it. I haven't come over here at all tonight. Let me just take a look.
Come on.
Lucas County. Look at this. And again, here's your opportunity, right? Is this early vote? Joe Biden, 73% to 26%.
Yeah, Ohio has always been a focus of Democrats, you guys. Hey, who will remember?
margins
I
still
gotta
like
keep
that,
pausing it, guys.
percentage-wise.
Sorry. Who remembers in 2016 when they caught all that election fraud going on in Ohio, and they actually caught the machines were changing votes that people were putting in Trump, and it would check Hillary on the screen. Remember the actual touch screen voting machines? Yup. Okay. And how they actually made an entire legal case out of it. And Bernie looked the other way. Remember, or it was Bernie. That's who it was. It was Bernie Sanders. I don't remember. But either way, it was the lady that helped do it was a YouTuber, and her heart was so broken because she put that whole election fraud case together for him. No, Ohio is not blue. Trump, he has dealt with the opiate crisis in ways that no Democrat has. Democrats flooded Ohio with opiates. Trump has helped with so much money for programs. He's really pounded the pharmaceutical market for that.
President has votes. We'll see if they turn out this time. He had votes last time. We'll see if they turn out this time. If I had votes last time, I just want to show you
Turning
46%,
down,
right?
and, you know,
This was
oh,
very
okay.
close last time. It's the 10th of the
You know
88
it.
counties in Ohio. It's the 10th
You
largest.
know it,
So
John.
this matters in terms of the votes. And it matters not only here, you go across the border, then you're in Pennsylvania. These two come together in these blue collar communities. This was the fight of 2016. Ohio was comfortable, but Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, the same people who swung it. So let's pull
we're
back out
taking it.
and take a look at it. Let's come back to 2020 and look. Where else are you looking?
57,000
You look
people
down
this
here,
weekend.
Hamilton County,
Pennsylvania,
Cincinnati.
come on, guys.
Again, Joe Biden
Pennsylvania,
running up.
57,000 people in that little county. Okay? No, and Michigan, after what I just told, remember earlier, we talked all about Obama in Flint, Michigan, and how he slapped them in the face. He's the reason that their economy went, and then all them kids are poor. Come on now. Michigan, if you let a Democrat win your state, shame on you.
About halfway there again. So when you're halfway, you're looking at it, you're placing a mark.
Yeah, it's the
You
turn
say
for every,
that's-
like
that's where you wanna
9
be. That's
Eastern is
actually
when
outside
everything
where you wanna
starts
be.
to
Let's go
go
back and look. 52% then.
from the east over, because you
Almost
got to
70%,
remember, it's like
69%.
4
Now,
more
that's a
hours
while.
before
If
the
that stays there, that's a
West
while, but you're
Coast
only
starts
halfway there.
closing
So
their
you're thinking
polls.
this early vote here. The question is, what happens to the election day turnout? This used to be a Republican area. This is again a changing.
Don't make such a big deal
community
out of
because
stuff
the
like that.
suburbs.
Come
And
on.
as Joe Biden tries to win Ohio tonight, and that would be a statement right there. Game over. There's also a House seat right down in that same area. So you're watching the Democratic vote. You're watching how things play out as well. You come up here to Franklin County. Again, this is the capital. Democratic area right in Columbus. Labor unions, African-American vote. This is Democrat will run it up here. But it's when you get out here and you get out into the suburbs, if you're running 75%.
Yeah,
you come
numbers
back
coming in.
time,
That's what she
60%.
means.
That's a huge
Or that's what
difference. I
John
mean, that's
means,
why, some of this math is difficult. Some
Kara,
of it's
or
not.
whoever was asking.
Look at that. You're at 60%
Missed
then,
it.
351,000 votes. You're at 74% now.
Right about
going
now,
on
the
halfway.
numbers are
So
going to be
watch the
coming
vote
in
total.
back to back
That
to back.
percentage
So I'm going to
stays
keep
there
hopping
as we
around.
go up.
Okay? Hold
Again,
on.
we have election day votes to come in. So don't get ahead of yourself.
Exactly. There's going to be more votes, and that's why everything they tell you tonight is just to get your spirits down. Don't forget that. Okay? Let's come over here.
Before, meet the prince, pretending to be part
this
of
is
one of the
ABC
world's richest royal families.
Live. Hold on. Oh, no, it's not. Hang on. I got to get it live. There we go.
Increasingly nervous about what they're seeing out of Ohio. One senior source telling our team it's much closer than it should be. They're kicking themselves, frankly, for not having gone there more. The Trump team did not hold any rallies in Ohio over 2020 compared to holding 5 in Pennsylvania just this past weekend alone. They had to cut ad spending there in the final weeks because of this cash crunch that they've been facing in the campaign, foregoing millions
That's
of
needed.
dollars in ads. And George, you'll remember this. It's a minor incident, really, in the grand scheme of the things we cover here in this White House, but worth pointing out on a night like tonight. Remember this controversy from just a few months ago where President Trump called for a ban on Goodyear, the brand Goodyear, after the company, he accused the company of banning its employees from wearing his MAGA gear. Goodyear is based in Akron, Ohio, George.
As is LeBron James, and he's been quite active in this campaign as well. Mary Bruce, I mean, we saw that Joe
Wait, 2 more hours for the
Biden,
Western states. That's what I was trying to say. It starts in the Eastern states at 9 p.m. And of course, it starts going over by 2 hours at a time until the other side closes and starts turning in.
That this state was in play.
Excuse me, guys.
Increasingly competitive, and that appears to be reflected in these numbers that we are seeing so far tonight.
Hit that like button, hit the share button, please. That way at least I can get my stream out and some more people in here chit-chatting with us. Not too many. I don't like to have it too wild.
Preliminary exit data,
just my normal couple handfuls good enough for
in
me.
2016, but tonight in this preliminary data, suburban women are narrowly backing Biden. That bodes well for Biden's team.
As it gets later, we're going to start getting the belligerent ones in here. Just be prepared, guys.
Critical Midwestern states like Michigan and Wisconsin, possibly even in Pennsylvania, as they try to rebuild that blue.
And Finest and John, as long as y'all is in here tonight, I'm not even going to butt in. You handle the chat however you want to tonight, because the way I look at it, people are coming in tonight for a fight and they're going to be trolling. And so I'm just going to stay out of it and let you guys in the chat handle it.
Wall that Donald Trump smashed through 4 years ago. And it also speaks, George, to the power of women voters who tonight could determine the outcome of this election. They were critical to delivering Donald Trump the White House. Women voters tonight could be critical to taking it back.
Martha Redis, you spoke to a lot of them on the road this summer.
I spoke to a lot of them, and I can tell right now that there are a group of women I spoke to around those counties, around Columbus, Ohio, that Tom Yamas was talking about, who are very happy tonight. A group of women, several of them.
A group of Karens, several of them.
To Joe Biden.
They decided they wanted a crazy man for their president because that was better than that mean old orange man bad.
Well, that's what those women were concentrating on. And let me channel the late Cokie Roberts here for a minute, George. This is the centennial of the 19th Amendment.
God, I was about to say that, but I didn't know if it would be really bad for me to point out how she looks like she's been kicked in the face by a damn mule. She looks like she hasn't slept in 6 months, like she's only had nightmares about Donald Trump every day for the last 6 months or something. Really, it's crazy.
Here with President Trump,
Here we go. Here's some numbers, guys. At North Carolina, 70% is in, 78%. Only 7% of the North Dakota vote is in. Trump is up by 53.
He said, we got to take care of the virus first.
58% is in. Ohio, it's a little over half the vote. You guys, it's only 58% in Ohio. They are counting their eggs before they hatch. Don't stress that state yet.
So given what we're seeing in the exit polls, and again, one of the other trends that we're also seeing is Donald Trump is not underwater with approval in Ohio. It's one of his strongest showings tonight in the preliminary exit polls so far. So this would show, portends a good night.
Y'all heard that, right? The exit polls in Ohio show that tonight his exit polls are in Trump's favor, so don't turn on him yet.
I do wonder if the get out the vote and the early voting campaign by the Biden camp, the push for an early vote is actually helping there significantly tonight.
A lot of vote yet to come in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, BC, they want a president who literally can't remember yesterday, because then they can rewrite history every single day, the way they've always wanted to, as it fits them.
So what I have here is
Here is Dick Silver, who pretends as if he knows something, but yet again is going to screw himself over and make himself look like a fool. Watch.
Those positive results for Trump. You'll see the numbers come up here. Biden's going to, I think, wind up here north of 99%, because if But if Trump loses Ohio, he's going to lose in all probability Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania,
No, he's
Minnesota,
not.
which are bluer states.
Are you kidding
and that
me?
Makes for a losing map for him, most likely.
And that it really does.
You're
show the
joking.
importance right now, because you came into the night showing Donald Trump. With
First of all, what he just said was the most asinine thing I've ever heard. Us losing Ohio to Biden by a few counties does not mean Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan will go to Biden. Are you kidding me? Okay. Pennsylvania and Michigan. Pennsylvania is not going, and neither is Michigan. I promise you. Watch.
10% chance. So even if you give him those,
He
three
put
key
too much
states
into
we're
those
looking at
states.
in the Southeast right now, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida.
He
the
proved
flip
himself
Ohio
to them.
turns everything around.
Right. So he has to win both paths, right? He has to win the southern path and hold the states that he flipped from Clinton in 2016.
Yeah, I'm going to right now. Hold on. I'll hop over there. That was the one that doesn't have any sound on it. It just has just the numbers.
It is so
This one
close
right here.
now.
This is
It's
Fox right here.
Actually, have to take another quick
Why
break.
is it? Hold on. Get off that other one. There we go. Put that off. Okay. Here's Fox. That was the one I was just on. Here. This one just has numbers up. It's live right now too. See, John? Hang on. It's live. Hang on. Can you see? There we go. It's live. It just isn't talking right now. It's just showing numbers and states. It's not even really getting into anything yet. So let me see if I can find an. I know I could have swore I signed in to Fox News. Hold on, I will. 2 seconds. Fox News election coverage live. Do 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 do. Okie dokie.
Get Nancy Pelosi back into the speaker's role. Now remember, those 18 were against impeachment of the president. They wanted
If
her
I
to
let
do
it go
much
too
more,
long, John, don't be afraid to let me
conciliatory
know
towards the
so I
president when
don't
it
get
came to
me
a
a
second
copyright
stimulus bill that
or get
never
my stream
came.
taken down.
And yet they all
I don't
held
ever
on. They were
have a
able
problem
to raise
being
much
reminded.
more money
It's
than
a
the
big
Democrats
help.
and have this as than the Republicans. Carl was mentioning Act Blue. They were just flooded with money, so they were able to hold on to those seats. And not only that, but then they gained another 5, as if analysis is accurate, maybe even more. And I think that when you look at the suburban districts, that will be interesting. And one other point on that is this is 2020, so it's the beginning of a new decade. That means that we have a census and you will have redistricting opportunities. State legislatures all across this country as well could be changing again. And will Democrats decide to kind of try to solidify those gains? It's very hard to flip those back.
On your thoughts about this, about the House, Speaker Pelosi will retain control. She's obviously
Hear it, guys?
been
That's what
dealing
I was
with
going
some
to
negotiation
say.
that was
Pelosi
going
made
nowhere
a
with
statement
Treasury
saying
Secretary
she
Mnuchin,
is fully
and
confident
the
that
coronavirus stimulus
the
never came
election
to
will be announced by
before the
tonight
election.
in
She
their
holds on to
favor.
control.
What does she know that we
Depends on
don't?
what the rest of Washington
How is
looks
Pelosi
like,
so
how
confident?
the House deals with it.
Well, I think the key point that strikes me is that picking up on something Dana was just saying. You see that these suburban districts really respond well to moderate Democrats. And yet, in Trump world, oftentimes when they talk about the House, they talk about the squad, AOC, and that becomes kind of the leading figure, the face of Democrats in the House. But in reality, going back to 2018, the people who boosted the Democratic prospects in the House were these moderate and oftentimes female Democratic candidates recruited by Pelosi and a lot of the fundraisers. And I think that that's what you're seeing now grow. I don't think that the way that we talk about the House is in accord with the reality of the House in terms of the way Pelosi has managed it and in terms of the people who get elected to the House right now on the Democratic side.
Some Republicans are envious of the way she cracks the whip and keeps everybody in line in the House of Representatives as far as votes for Democrats, and she'll continue to do that. Maybe the most consequential race is still too early to call, including Florida, 29 electoral votes. As you take a look at our probability meter, 93%. We have not called it, but 93% for President Trump. Votes that could make or break President Trump. Electoral votes on the way to 270. We'll be right back.
Okay, guys. Let's see what it says here.
We're at the movies and we need to. Tired of
Hang on.
overpaying for your prescription?
Come back. Hold on. We'll come back to that in a minute. I wanted to show you that what I had saved you. Here we go. Tonight. Is it tonight on it? The one that says tonight on it. I think it's this one. Yep, here it is. Okay. All the way down at the bottom. Pelosi. This is what she said here. Look at this. Check this out.
You, of course, had reached a deal back in 2018 to serve no longer than 4 years as Speaker. So do you expect next Congress to be your last term serving as Speaker?
Let me just say, with all due respect to you and the organization you represent, that's the least important question you could ask today. The fate of our nation, the soul of the nation is at stake in this election. We are fighting very hard in districts across the country to get a big vote.
Look at that
out, and
face, y'all.
it's not
That is
only
the most
to win
evil
congressional
face.
districts, but also to contribute to the success
Thank
of our
you, Jen.
Senate candidates, which is very, very important in the Senate, as well as the Electoral College. That's what we're here to talk about, not about my plans. We're here to talk about plans for our country, for our future, for our children. Elections are about the future. One of these
Sure
days,
has.
my
She's the
plans
reason.
are
She says
when
that
it's appropriate
we'll get a
and when it
stimulus
matters.
as soon as
It
the
doesn't
election's
matter
over.
right
Why
now.
did we have to wait? Because when the election's over,
On
if they didn't
January
win,
20th,
they're going
Joe
to
Biden
continue to
will be
block it.
inaugurated President of the United States. Whoever wins the election will be, and we respect that, the peaceful transfer of power. We are ready legally, constitutionally, congressionally, in every way to protect
Are her
our
teeth falling
democracy,
now? Is she like trying
for
to
any
hold her teeth in with those
skullduggery that the
wrinkly,
president may
loose
try
lips of
to,
hers?
introduce into this.
Apparently,
But,
the Botox is no longer
be
holding around her
assured,
mouth.
that
It sure is keeping them eyes open, though. There she. Oh, I was waiting for that blink, you guys. For a minute, I was worried.
But if that's what the president wants to do,
My
go onto
goodness.
that battlefield.
She off the
We're ready.
pudding. Oh, jeez.
Over 230,000 Americans have died, millions infected, joblessness raging, and poverty skyrocketing.
They're going to keep counting
In
dead
September
Americans.
alone, over 1 million.
Do you know how many of them
women
people
left the
died of
workplace.
other
And the
things but were
president said
positive
that
for
he would get their
COVID?
husbands' jobs back. But instead of crushing the coronavirus, Trump is trying to crush the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, waging his deadly lawsuit to destroy protections.
You know,
of
but it's like
pre-existing
melting
conditions
plastic, John.
and
It
the
looks
other
like somebody took a
benefit of
lighter
the
to her
Affordable
face,
Care Act.
like her
Showing
plastic
its deadly
face. It
contempt
just
for
started to
science
melt,
and
and
refusing
just
to
as it
accept a
started to
national
drip, they
plan
took the lighter
for
off.
Testing, tracing, treatment. Joe Biden will do that. The president is installing an illegitimate Supreme Court justice just 1 week before the election, after 60 million Americans have voted, who will dismantle the ACA and won't say, by the way, when asked by Senator Feinstein, do you think Medicare is constitutional? She said she really couldn't say.
Yeah, because she's a constitutionalist, and it really doesn't go. I mean, never mind. Don't let me get started on her because I love her and I will fight for her all night. Let's check out ABL. Who wants to see ABL for a minute? I want to hop around.
Hampton, Virginia.
He's real good at deciphering this stuff.
93.5% reporting, and 10,000 for Joe Biden, 8,782 for Donald Trump. Really interesting.
Very interesting.
Newport News with 58% reporting Trump's is winning. Very interesting. These are like black areas.
Skeletor.
York County, Trump, of course. James City. Okay, we'll see what's going on.
See what he's saying? Virginia's not a given yet. Don't let him tell you
This
that.
is interesting for
I don't
Virginia.
care.
They're
Maybe
trying
it
to, like,
is.
say
Maybe
that
it
might
is. But they're
get
calling it.
retracted.
I just
Like
can't
was saying
believe
to
it
you guys
is.
earlier. Sometimes they retract.
Or is
they
it
call
West
state, they
Virginia?
may say,
West
okay,
Virginia.
Virginia's being called for Joe Biden. Sometimes they retract that and then be like, oh, okay, we made a mistake,
Right.
whatever. Colorado's been called for Joe Biden.
Which
I figured that would happen.
But I'm not saying I didn't think it would happen, guys. Really quickly, not to cut in, but I have to. But I thought Colorado, they just had that Supreme Court thing saying they can count votes all the way up until November 12th. How are you going to call your stuff tonight? Or maybe they got all their votes back in.
get those, that's going to be a problem. So we'll see. North Carolina is turning. Is it turning?
North Carolina's turning.
I got 81%. It doesn't look like it.
Oh.
It's still
81%.
81% of the vote, 50.4% for Joe Biden, and 48.5% for
Damn,
Trump.
it's close.
I don't really see it. I think it's going to stay that way.
You think so?
But it's still kind of close, though. I mean, wow, wait a minute.
Wait, see, it just went up.
Okay, so we got.
Yo, it just jumped up, yo.
692 for Joe
North
Biden,
Carolina.
313,000.
There's still 18% left to come in, guys, for North Carolina.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me do my quick maths here.
Yeah, do it up.
2, 3, 8, 9. Divided by 2, 3, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. 2, 3.
This is why I wanted to come to ABL. Because
76,000,
John wanted
that's
the
all?
numbers. Here's the numbers.
That's real. Track that. I think they called that for Joe Biden, maybe on one of these news stations. They might want to retract that too. Hold on.
Yeah, buddy.
Real close. Now let's do county by county. Yeah.
Look at this. I don't know.
Raleigh, Durham, all of that is going to be.
Oh, that's gonna be blue.
Over here might not. That's not going to be blue right there. I don't think so. Like Roanoke Rapids, it's not going to be all blue. That's going to be red more than anything. Elizabeth City is going to be red. Outer Banks, all of that, that's going to be red. Wilmington, North Carolina, that's going to be blue probably. We'll see. Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, of course, Fayetteville.
Cities, of course.
Asheville might even be blue. I mean, red. And back to Virginia.
So he's on Google doing that. Let me check this out.
Interesting,
While he's doing that,
We'll
I'm
see
just
how
going
it
to pull it
works.
up, guys.
Wow. Yeah, pray for Texas for sure. Pray for Texas.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of nerve wracking.
Texas, he says, is what we need to be praying for, guys. So you heard it. Say a prayer for Texas. Come on.
Hold on. Somebody said New York Times.
Give me a second. I'll go right back.
80%.
Google election results. See how they're throttling stuff down? Come on, Google election results.
Wait, what you mean? 80% for Joe Biden, North Carolina, 80% chance of winning.
All right, here we go. I can pull up the same map as him too, just so we got it when I want it next time. I want to look at it. Live update. Okay, all states.
So currently, electoral votes, Trump has 93, and Joe Biden has 131.
Jesus.
Now, once Trump gets Florida,
right, which is coming,
that'd be 29 more electoral votes. So 93, 29.
That's pulling
that'd be
ahead. Georgia
122.
pulled ahead. Okay.
He'll probably get Georgia as well.
Look, here we go. Here's
Speaking
some
about
numbers,
Trump, that
guys.
is, at
Here we
16
go.
electoral votes. So then he'll be at 138. He'll probably get Michigan. That's 16 more votes.
That's what I said.
Votes.
See how close he is? Michigan's
Ohio, I think,
ours.
will go to Trump.
Pennsylvania,
But
man.
it's
Come
gonna
on,
be super
PA.
close.
Look
Right
how
now,
close.
it's losing.
Look how close Texas
18
is.
votes,
Oh my
electoral
God.
votes. Texas, I think, will go.
Hold on. Y'all see Texas right now? Do y'all see Texas? 49-3, 49-4. How much of that votes in? Texas. 64. There's 64% of their votes in. See how much more they got left? They got all this still, all that gray still. Let me see if I can blow this up. Okay. There we go. See all that gray? Texas still got a lot to go, but it's close right now. That's kind of scary. Let's see what else. Hang on. Wisconsin going towards Trump, guys. Got 9% reporting in, but it's still 52 ahead for Trump right now. So that's one of our swing states. Pennsylvania is going towards Biden right now, which is weird. But remember, guys, they only have 13% reporting in, and they just started counting their mail-ins today as well as their walk-ins. So think about, they're like probably the most behind state of all, I would imagine. It's going to tighten up dramatically. Dramatically. So let's see what else we got. 66% in Ohio, 83% North Carolina, which is still really close. I mean, we're talking within tens of thousands of votes, guys. And there's still 17% left to report. So that's not a given, if you ask me. Yeah, it's leaning, but that's not a given by any means. Michigan going for, what did I tell you? Michigan was not going for Biden. 17% already in the president, and that's only 19% in. Nevada ain't gonna get any results until about 10 p.m. So we'll be checking on them again soon. New Hampshire's got about 19. Like I said, it looks to me like these ones, Arizona's looking, where is the rest of them? Like apparently these are the only ones they have in so far. Okay, gotcha. So we're waiting on quite a few still. All right, let's head back and watch some live. I got a couple more lives we can. I like ABL. I got a couple other ones. We'll get back to him in a little bit. Oops, wrong
You, of
one.
course,
Sorry.
reached a deal back in 2018 to serve no longer than 4 years as.
There we go. Come on.
Exercise that with Biden. No. First of all, Tim, they tried to do this. There's Democrats who are talking about doing this with Trump.
Yes.
And the point that I made and a lot of other people made is once you open that door of like, oh, I think this person's mentally unfit, mentally incompetent, so I don't care what the voters said, I'm going to override
I love Joe
them because
Rogan. I didn't know he was doing an interview show. I thought he was doing like an actual election show. I'll catch up with that tomorrow, guys. I'm not in any mood to hear about Trump's personality and Joe Biden. I don't know. I'm not doing it. Let's see what CBS is saying.
Well, 117,000 ballots. That could accrue to Joe Biden.
You just saw with your own eyes what the maps say. Now let's see how they spin
Having
it.
said that, though, we look at some of those larger
They want to
counties
ruin
that
your
are more Republican, and they're gonna say a lot about saying
spirit. They want to make you give up on your
county, and that
the
could accrue
man
to
you're
the president.
supporting.
It's one reason why we couldn't call the race right now.
Okay. And I think
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think, did you have something more in North Carolina, or should I flip over to Ohio?
No, well, it's just the battle of the big counties. Whereas the story in Florida is the president reaching into the Democratic stronghold in Miami-Dade. It looks like here what's happening in North Carolina is everybody's just maximizing their vote. The president looks like he may be maximizing it a little bit more than Joe Biden's maximizing his vote.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at Ohio, another important state at this hour. And I understand, look, we just have just over half of the vote in, but according to our exit polls, and help me out here as I pull this up, Joe Biden was actually doing well with some non-college educated white men in the state of Ohio.
Come on, guys.
No, I'm sorry, I did not. I had that state wrong. Forgive me, but go ahead, Michigan. Sorry, Michigan is doing. We'll talk about
Anthony, stay in Ohio. Stay in Ohio. Yeah, sure. Head towards Cincinnati, if you would, because the Biden team is telling me they seem to be performing better in the Cincinnati area and its suburbs than Hillary Clinton did 4 years ago. Is that what you're seeing?
So start in Hamilton, okay, and that's better than Hillary Clinton, okay, so that's part of it, all right. But you go out to Butler County, that's a suburb, trends Republican.
Butler County, is that Pennsylvania? Where are they, Pennsylvania?
There's Hillary Clinton.
Virginia. Okay, sorry.
So the answer to that, the short answer to that is yes. Is it enough? We'll see. Because the other part of the state that I would point you to is up north around Cleveland. And it's these areas up around Cleveland. I'm going to show you a kaleidoscope of red and blue, the way that is trending right now.
You know,
Joe Biden doing okay, but maybe not.
I love politics, but this is getting a little in the weeds, so we'll run us back out, John.
Well, the only thing I would say is that in all these counties, in Hamilton, Cuyahoga, there's only 50 some odd % in, right? And does that take us back to our early vote versus day of vote storyline from the evening?
It does indeed. It does indeed. So like Cuyahoga, for example, 52% in, still over 300,000 votes left to count.
Told ya.
That's really the way you do the math
They
right now.
counted on this
What's the
early
leading
vote to be
and
their
what does
thing.
a trailing candidate need to catch up?
And for Trump in Ohio, the narrative seems to be from the data that it's the white, non-college educated,
non-college
men who are sticking with
educated.
him and really being led by his appeal on the economy, the perception that he is stronger for
Oh, they
them
throttle
in that
my
Rust
channel
Belt state.
hard.
It may be a perception, given that many of the trade
Sometimes
deals
all
he
I can say
promised
is
over the past
refresh,
4
I'm
years were
sorry.
only partially delivered on. Right, he got the new North American free trade deal, but anything outstanding with China, he hasn't delivered on. But it's the promise, and it's something Joe Biden had hoped to eat away at.
We've got some exit polls coming up from the states of Ohio and Michigan that's going to tell us how many of these voters are breaking. Coming up, we'll update the state of the race. You're watching CBS News 2020, America Decides.
Okay, so let's see what else is. Let's check back on Fox. I know I got that one still on here. I got a ton of them on here. How about Blaze? I'm gonna see what Blaze. What's going on with Blaze? Live on Blaze.
Run by each individual state. So we don't have one system. We have 50 systems, and in those 50 systems, they even have their own county systems. And it's what makes us unique and I think good. But if you go in and you just want to start changing all the rules as the game is being played, how do you keep score, and how do you ever declare a winner?
That's the problem. And the Constitution speaks to who has authority over those state elections. It's not the state judges. It's the legislature. It specifically says that it's the state legislature that has that authority. And so what's happening in a number of these states is you have state judges that are overruling what the legislator said as far as when the voting ends and how things are to be done and how the votes are to be counted.
Activist judges,
a number of the
should net judges who are not, who don't know their place.
That's a violation of the Constitution. But as of yet, there's these 4-4 ties, and they're waiting for later, and so it's really setting this up to be, I think a real disaster as far as the courts, having to get involved in the election.
And this is intentional. If you know anything about Mark Elias, can you explain who Mark Elias is and what he's
listen
doing?
to Mark Elias about Mark
Elias.
Well,
he's the architect of the Democrats. I think that was announced many months ago. I'm sure you were probably one of the first ones to point out when they announced they had over 600 attorneys already ready.
Very
so this
close
is not like
Clinton associate, guys. Mark Elias.
This is something that they've done before, and they're ready at greater levels than ever before. At the same time that's going on, of course, there's plans for all kinds of riots and disruptions all around the country. So
John, he gets all the attention.
Marxism is coming to us in lots of different ways to try to disrupt our system instead of following the system and the rule of law. And if your state legislature wants to do it differently than another state legislature, which we've had done, that's fine.
All right,
totally different.
I'm gonna come back to this in a little bit, guys. I want to keep on checking numbers. I know everybody's real. Well, I'll hop around. I want to talk too, but
It's a new
right now numbers are coming in like wild, and everybody wants to see numbers. So that's what I'm. The problem is they're coming up on the bottom of my screen. It's just too small for you guys to see. So just give it a minute. I think they're coming back in 15 seconds.
To use at your pharmacy. That's it.
I opted in.
I opted.
Yeah. Okay. So they're gonna let me do it or what? Here we go.
Can too. Opt in and save big today.
Yay! Yes. I'm excited but nervous. Nervous a little bit. A little more nervous than I thought I would be. But I have faith. My heart feels good about this.
Hey Tony, what you doing?
I am just reviewing
Yes, fingers crossed.
Tubi, huh?
They got a huge offensive.
I feel like
Tubi has such a deep bench.
good is going to win out on this one. You know?
Tubi, download now on all your favorite devices.
No tools or wiring needed, and voice prompts guide you.
Motion sensor detected.
Well, that was easy.
Ooh, tightening up. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. You see that? Tighten it up. Tighten it up.
Your house brought you together. Like, really together. And although together is great, together with more space.
Dems need +4.
With Rocket Mortgage, you get personalized loan
for
options,
the majority.
closing costs,
They only got +1 so far.
all in real time. So when you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket can.
All right. Ohio is about 22%. No, Minnesota 22%. Ohio's about 70% in, guys. Look, Ohio tightened up. Ohio tightened up 49.0 to 49.7. So Biden's only up by 7. Listen, see what I mean, guys? Numbers are rolling in now. Hang on, I gotta get you to see the bottom.
Over the last 12 years, you've helped My Pillow create thousands
There you
of
go.
jobs right here in the USA.
When I
House,
get a pillow,
Pennsylvania,
I sleep almost immediately. I stay asleep.
2% in Minnesota, 16 in Pennsylvania.
That's why I invented My
Very
Pillow.
positive vibe.
My patented
Yay!
pillow
Oh,
adjusts
the
to your
XOC!
exact
Yay!
individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress topper, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body
Trump.
pillows regularly $89.99.
14% in. Ohio's tightening up. You know it. I'm so. This is a good one, right, John? I feel like I'm watching the Super Bowl, but yeah, we're tightening it up. .com.
You may know Mount Rushmore, but that's
That's
only
what
the beginning.
our
of
president's
South
face should be.
Mountain carvings and breathtaking
The
landscapes.
man who
are just
who
some of
created the
what's waiting
Mideast
to be
peace
discovered.
deal, how he didn't get the peace prize sickens me.
Great places are open.
We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I got a whole
I'm
setup
Governor
live for
Christine.
that.
Now more than ever, those great places can bring us together. And I can promise you, it'll be a vacation to remember. To learn how to explore South Dakota safely, visit our website.
When you can't watch,
I don't know, Tara. I'm not positive because each channel likes to call it in a different way to spin it. And you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At least I'm honest. Fox is more right leaning, so they're gonna spin the ones that are more right leaning. You know, the counties they know that generally are like D +6 or R +7.
But we begin with our politics.
No, I don't think you saw it wrong.
Supreme.
I'll have to check it
Chris
out again.
Starwall standing by.
I'm
Chris,
looking.
you've been watching.
You moved in there, right?
Here we go. Let's talk to Styrewall. He knows.
It's all working. Dana Carino sent us a bunch of candy. So
The birthday party was on the Louisiana ballot. Tell me you didn't vote for it, BC. Please tell me. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I would have laughed at least. It wasn't even on the ballot in New York.
That it was going to Biden. We have the yellow check mark.
Doesn't that
right
piss you
there. There are a couple other organizations.
Where
that
did they, what did you
pulled
just say?
back
Who,
that
one in the chat, you said that, or whoever
what
said
they're
the
seeing.
one in the
Obviously,
chat
we're
that,
looking at the
why was it
vote
checked
totals
for
right
Biden
now,
when it was called for,
1.2
when they
to
already said it was ahead for Trump?
163. So
Oh,
we're
Tara,
already
yeah,
at
Tara,
Virginia.
drop that back in there so I can check it out.
If the projections that these others you
wanna
speak
go
of were to hold true, the incumbent senator in Virginia, Mark Warner, would lose by like 20 points. So for Republicans who are excited about Virginia or Democrats who may be despairing, this is a reflection of what we've been talking about all along.
43,
There are
55,
tons and
Virginia.
tons and tons of votes out.
Wait a minute, why
that
does it
have
say
not yet been
43 for
counted.
him
We
and
have a
55
high
for Trump,
expected
but the
count
race
for
was
votes in
called
Virginia,
for the
and our
president,
call will
for,
hold. We
for,
feel
for
very
Biden. Wait a minute, I'm
Because it's
confused. That doesn't make any
47%
sense.
Precincts.
You guys, what about that doesn't make sense right there? It's checked for Biden. Trump's up. More votes, less votes. Why is it checked for Biden? Race called for Biden. Why? I don't understand. Somebody explain that to me. John, help. Why does it say, I know West Virginia Trump got, they already called that a minute ago. I saw that. John, why are they trying to say that Biden won when obviously 43 is less than 50 freaking 5? Am I retarded? Damn it, there goes my monetization. Use the R word. Help me.
And so it's just confusing for people who look at it on
Yes.
the screen and they say a yellow mark, but wait, it's 55-43. How can they do that? Explain how exactly.
Well, I guess I should have listened, huh?
Because thanks to the Fox News voter analysis, we have all of these completed interviews with all of these Americans.
Oh, okay.
People who voted early, people who voted in person early, people who mailed in.
I understand,
people who
John.
voted on the day of.
They're mixing both.
So once we can match that up with the vote that's coming in, we know how good our surveys were. We know how good of a job we did, along with our partners at the Associated Press and the University of Chicago National Opinion Research Center. We can see, how did it cook up, right? Is the turkey done? And the turkey's done in Virginia.
You're
Right.
sure?
Yep.
Okay, if it's not, you're coming back.
Yeah,
you're coming back.
I'm happy. I'm happy to, as a West Virginian, I'm always happy to come back and talk smack on Virginia.
Okay, well, let's go to Florida,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, let's go to Florida.
What do you think? Florida, it's 93% in our probability meter. Let's call
Well, if a probability meter was a decision desk, what would we do? You'd just get rid of us, and Dana would save all that money on candy.
Now it's 95%, by the way.
The president is leading in Florida. It's not unreasonable for his campaign to be optimistic about Florida, but we would also remember that Florida is a land of alligators when it comes to calling races. And there's just no reason for us right now to take a chance on calling Florida, where there is still a considerable amount of vote out, and we're not quite sure given the high numbers of early votes. So we're just not quite there yet.
What about this thing about the absentee ballots requested in different states, Florida, North Carolina, and the ones that came back received? We know that there's a percentage every year.
Okay, right, yeah, like a guesstimate.
That they just don't vote.
They're just using their algorithm, mathematics software, whatever, their attempt to guess our vote. Because of course, with all the millions of dollars that we donate to these people, they have all the software that can pretty much guess based by home polls, social online polls, who's registered in each area for what party. See, I threw them off. I registered as a Democrat, and I knew who I was voting for. Last time I was a registered Democrat and vote for Trump, but that's because I was originally for Bernie.
This year to that year.
This time, I stayed a registered Democrat the whole time. Every time they called me, I said Joe Biden.
In demography and incremental.
They weren't getting the truth out of me for nothing. They lied to me too much in 2016.
And the way we conduct elections in our lifetimes to go from basically 40% votes early and absentee to 60% in early and absentee.
It's very typical to confuse people to do that. Yeah, see, the problem is, Angel, I'm in New York, and if I put independent, we don't have an open primary, and that means I wouldn't be able to actually vote. So I wanted to make sure that there was somebody in the Democratic Party primary that I wanted to vote in. Since I already know that my state most likely is going to go blue, I'd like it to at least be somebody that that maybe there's a good moderate that I can get my hands on or whatever, just to get them in the primary. Or in some cases, I voted for the worst one. So that way the person I'm voting for, in this case, Trump, would have somebody, have the worst Democrat to run against. But they changed me without consent twice to a Democrat. Oh, wow. They changed you twice without your consent. See, New York City's corrupt with their elections. They always be having problems.
Donald Trump and Joe Biden accurate.
Yes,
They're actually that to scale.
It's nice of them to come and stand on either side of the map with us tonight as we figure all this out.
Let's bring in Bill Hemmer to continue the grilling. Bill Hemmer, you got Chris
I think
Garwald.
Chris is better in the bow tie, but I still like him nonetheless. Chris, good evening to you. I will tell you.
Here we go,
this is
guys.
Ohio for our viewers at home, because the last time we talked, Donald Trump was trailing. Now he's taken a lead in the state of Ohio.
John, you hear that, John?
4 years ago. Last time we talked North Carolina.
We got it. Come on. I told you Ohio wasn't caving in. He helped that opiate crisis in Ohio, and they weren't going to just sell him out over some comment he made about Goodyear. Hello, they were wearing MAGA gear. That's what come on.
Mail vote phenomenon. We're not able to say.
It's not like
from when
they were wearing Biden gear and got in trouble. They were wearing MAGA
I
gear.
can say this: we've got to be focused on our probabilities here instead of just the raw vote. And North Carolina is a key state. It is hard to get the president home without North Carolina. It's possible, but it is a key state, and it is one of the ones we're watching the most
Of
closely.
the remaining 14%, we can't say where it's coming from, but I can tell you these are 3 rural counties right here that are still in gray. I was clicking in there a moment ago. There's not a ton of votes out there, but all 3 of those counties Donald Trump won in 2016. So the margin could change.
You heard that?
When you're talking about 20,000, you want to see it? Here we go. Go back to 2016. This is Caswell County, North Carolina. President beat Hillary Clinton by about 1,000 votes in 2016. What was the other one? Over here in Franklin County, President knocked off Hillary Clinton there by about 4,000 votes. So you got 5,000 votes right there, Chris, and we'll see how that comes in. One more state I want to point out, guys, because the map is starting to expand. Come back to 2020 here. Chris, this is Michigan with 20% of the vote in.
Yeah. I'm not
Let
gonna,
me see
matter
the
of fact,
numbers check there
John, you
real
think it's
time
all right if
here.
I leave it
This
here
is
for the next
Detroit
10
down
minutes?
here, this Grand
I
Rapids
feel like
down
I'm
here
getting
where
a
the
better
president was the
gist
other
for what's
day.
going on, or an
Wayne
idea what's
County,
going on.
Michigan has a ton of votes in
And I should be
in
all
that
right.
state. And we're just cracking the surface right now for what Detroit could
I might
bring
check
in
back
for
and
Joe
forth between the
Biden.
Google thing
Hillary
and see what they're
Clinton
trying to
clocked in
pull.
at 500,000 votes in 2016. So we're starting to see a little bit of expansion in the map as we move away from some of the races we were watching earlier today. Florida right now, again, about 3.5 points, 9% of the vote out. I'll come up to Georgia and show you what we're getting here now. Half the vote is in Georgia. Chris, I don't know what you see in the Peach State. But Donald Trump right
just
now
happened?
with a 14-point lead. Fulton
Hold
County
up.
is critical. A lot of votes there.
Whoa.
I don't know what the whole
That was crazy, right?
Yeah, well, okay. Well, if that's the case, they better find a plug pretty soon because the votes are scarce. What do you see there, Chris?
So look, we're accustomed when you're talking about Georgia or whether you're talking about Michigan or any state that is like America, a couple of blue dots in a big red ocean. It takes a lot longer to get all those votes in the densely populated urban areas in, and this is the rough math of every presidential election and in every swing state, because basically it's the city mice versus the country mice each time. This election is no different in that way, even if you add in the complexity of having a mail vote and the early vote. The truth is it's so much more densely populated in those cities. It just takes longer to get through in those candidates.
Let me interrupt here. Is Joe
It's looking a
Biden
lot better now. Feeling a lot better.
outperforming where we had him going in, or is Donald Trump outperforming?
I think it's too early to know that. I think Chris would agree with me in some of these critical states.
I think so far, how did Brother Wallace put it? He said that nobody had won a game on the road on the opposing team's home field yet. I think that's true so far. And we have not had an event take place yet that says that there's not been some cataclysm for either campaign.
Yeah, in the next 10 minutes.
But as you guys point out,
Yep.
the clock is really running. And we are the map is expanding quickly, and a lot more electoral votes are on the table now. And here we go.
I would just say, these are the blue dots in Ohio from 2000. This makes your point, Chris, right? This is Cincinnati, Hamilton County. This is Columbus, Franklin County. This is Cuyahoga, Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, it doesn't repeat itself all over the country, but that's a pretty good marker. Again, I'm showing you numbers from 4 years ago, but Michigan's quite similar. I hear the votes down here for Democrats, right? I mean, southeast corner, Wayne County, Detroit, Pennsylvania, same year, same story.
Whoa, beautifully red. Look at that pretty red.
Over here in the surrounding
Keep on it going.
Collar County.
Oh, that was 2016. Sorry. I didn't see it was 2016.
In Pennsylvania come from 5.
Oh, we froze. Hold up. And that's happened. That's a little strange. All right. Well, maybe they're getting a little bit of traffic. Something went wrong. Refresh your browser. Hang on. Hang on a minute, guys. We'll go check around here for a minute. Take some of this off. Take that one off. Take that one off because they're all on here, so I'm good with that. Sorry, let me just take some of this off. Maybe it won't. What do you call it? Buffer. Here we go. Now we'll do it. Let's go live here and see what's going on. Nothing.
The Mandalorian, new season now streaming only on Disney Plus. Good Morning America tomorrow morning.
This is ABC. All right, so we'll pause that. There's nothing going on there yet. Let's check over here. Updated at 9:55. All right, a minute ago. Let's check it out. We got 131. And see, that's bullshit. They just said one, and we were just on one where he had 100. Google is not even being fair. It was 129 to 100. How'd they give Joe Biden 2 more points and they took 8 away from Trump? No. See, I'm not even going to use, I just feel like I'm being, like the whole crush your spirit thing is trying to happen, and I'm not going to let it happen. Not on my channel. Motherfucker. Let's go see. Let's take a second. Take a second. Numbers are going to be coming in just a few minutes. Come on. Here we go. Let's see what's on Crowder.
So Donald Trump won Florida by 1.4 points. Is that right?
2016, that sounds about right.
1.4, and now they're predicting him by 3.2. Donald Trump won Georgia by
I'm not sure, TM.
5 points. What are they predicting him tonight?
Yeah, I'm
New
about to
York
go get me
Times.
some
Yeah,
right
he is
now.
up in the New York Times by 3.
Okay, he is up in the New York Times by 3.
Going to grab a
all
drink,
right. Well,
guys.
listen, we will go right back to that. But right now, we actually have to go to our next guest. One of my favorite guests. I want to make sure I have the plug right. What's the plug here for the? Do I have plugs for the guests? I know it's Game Bred Fighter, right? Game Bred Fighter on YouTube and on Instagram and on the Twitter. And
Yes.
he is an American who has ties, roots in Cuba with his family, but I don't want to call him a Cuban American because he might hurt me. And he's been on the show, and he has played a pivotal role in, of course, Florida, which we've already called for Donald Trump. Jorge Masvidal, how are you, sir? How good do you feel now that Florida went to your guy?
I want more. I should have been redder, if you ask me.
Well, it's almost 2 times the amount of last election. So he'll probably win Florida by over 3 points. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't actually. I thought we turned it a little harder. I think we did good. I was talking a lot to the people that run the internal polls in Miami, and they were ready to lose Miami by a lot more than what they ended up losing by. I think with Hillary, they lost by like 300 and something thousand.
Hey, Jorge, we love your beard, but can you angle the camera up a little bit? Because it looks like you look like a reverse Wilson. There you go.
There's a hat.
Very nice. Let me ask you, do you think that Donald Trump wins tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's my brother.
What states do you think he wins? But as far as in the Midwest, because you have Wisconsin, Minnesota, and then you have Michigan, Pennsylvania. What would you call for Donald Trump? Because that's what it'll come down to.
I'm putting money on Pennsylvania. I got some inside sources. While I was at the Trump rally in Florida, Pennsylvania, I'm betting money on Pennsylvania if anybody wants to take me up on the bet. I'm also betting Arizona, man.
Oh, yeah. No, I think Arizona for sure, especially because if you look at how the Latino vote went in Florida and we've seen in Texas, Arizona is actually, I mean, people thought that, Arizona is going to be further out of reach for Donald Trump. I think, if anything, it might even be better because, again, people see Latinos as one demographic, as a monolith. For example, Jorge, let people know here, how different is a Cuban American, for lack of a better word, but a Cuban American outlook? How different would it be from a Mexican American outlook, or let's say a South American, let's say like a Chilean American outlook, or else like a Cuban American versus a Mexican American outlook? How different are they? Should they be in the same category, which is what pollsters do?
Politically wise, like an ideology and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who's that there with you? Lil Weezy?
We got some friends. One of my training partners and my father's here. You guys met my father.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't met your father. Did he enjoy the cigars that we sent?
Oh, he loves the cigars. Taking them on the cigar. He's smoking one right now.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Hey, your father looks young.
Yeah, man. He ain't doing too bad for himself.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and check numbers. Hold on.
Little light skin, yeah. You got to stay.
I was expecting the camera to turn over and have like a Jorge, have a little bit of a Yoel Romero, like, I love cigar!
All right.
States in play right
Fox
now.
is back.
We have a lot of things cooking, a lot of raw vote total that's coming in addition to our
Hold on, let me turn it
analysis.
back up.
The next polls will close in just a
what the heck?
matter of seconds. And when they do, we will make some more calls. It's starting to get where anything can pop.
How the hell do I get it out of here now?
Races are coming in quickly
Here we
as
go.
well. As we said, Senator Graham hangs on to his seat. We're watching the Tillis race in North Carolina closely as well.
Polls are closing,
As
guys.
the next race calls.
Here it goes. 3 p.m.
It is 10 o'clock.
Pennsylvania, and then it's
Just
over.
closed in another 4 states. Let's start with Iowa, where President Trump is locked in a close race with former Vice President Joe Biden. According to our decision desk, it's too early to project a winner in Iowa. The other state we're watching very closely at this hour is Nevada.
Well, that's just because numbers are just starting to come in.
Ahead of Trump at the moment, although we'll need to analyze a lot more data from Nevada.
That's right,
before
John.
we make a call there.
Meanwhile, President Trump is ahead of the former vice president in a pair of western states. The first is Utah, home to Republican Senator Mitt Romney, and is a frequent Trump critic, as we well know. And the other is Montana,
a traditional Republican stronghold. Are decision desks still not quite ready to declare winners in either of those states yet tonight?
So if we look at our electoral map, where it stands right now and our lovely standing candidates, it is 129 to 109. Remember that 270 is the magic number to win the presidency. And you see those yellow states, obviously those have closed, but we have not called them yet. And that is where this race is really being battled. You have North Carolina. We have Florida that we haven't called yet, although Donald Trump has a big lead now in Florida.
Yeah. And as these results continue to come in tonight, let's bring in Tucker Carlson once again. Host
Oh,
of
yeah,
Tucker
Tucker.
Carlson tonight. Tucker, great to
You guys,
talk to
this
you
is
tonight.
probably like
Obviously,
the most
this is,
important
a
election of
historic
all of our
evening,
lives,
always,
and we
where
don't
the
even
nation
realize it. I
comes
mean, a lot of
together
us do,
to
but a lot of
elect
us
a
don't. You
president.
can tell by the
It's
way
been
some
very
of this
hard-fought
voting is
race, and we
gone.
still have so much
People
to be
literally
decided.
voted for a
Your
man
thoughts
who
at
has got
10:01
full-blown
Eastern.
dementia.
I think Mitt Romney had lost by this point when he ran for president. So there's
Yep,
a lot to
cater to the
learn, of
poor.
course, and I sincerely don't know what the outcome will be, but I just cannot get over my total surprise at the disconnect between what we're watching on the screen
Yes.
and what has been confidently predicted across the media landscape for months.
Sure.
That there was a very good chance of a blue wave, of a total Biden blowout, of an early night. And I could get much more specific about this, and I think we'll probably spend the next couple of months doing that because it's worth doing.
Yes,
But
yes,
suffice
Tucker,
to say,
it
anyone
is.
watching
And Little Wheezy, right? That was
any
great.
media this year knows that the media, even on the basis of the data we have now, got it really wrong. And they'll claim they didn't because
You're a little slow on that one there, that's needed.
and we know that. And why is this a problem?
YouTube
It's
is
a problem
auto-pausing
because
all my
in the end, we know who the president is because the media.
I've heard a
tells
couple
who the
people
president
complain
is.
about this
The
tonight.
campaign manager for the Joe Biden effort today sent out a tweet saying, in effect, we will, if announced.
Because it doesn't want
Joe Biden won by
certain
media,
channels
then,
being able to call election, just like Twitter and Facebook. They're throttling hard tonight,
The second
guys.
the media declared Joe Biden the president, he will begin, in effect,
And
acting
ever
as the
since I
president. So
started
you can't
covering
really overstate
politics stuff,
the
all
role
of my
the media
monetization
in
has turned to
adding
yellow
legitimacy and
again.
conveying
It's so crazy how they do
legitimacy to
that.
the
I don't even
We're not
care.
just
They don't
observers,
realize
we're
that I will do
participants,
this
as much as we
forever
hate to
for
admit it.
limited monetization
So
because it's in
given
my
all
heart.
that, it really matters whether or not we're credible.
And eventually,
And I would say in some very specific ways,
whatever is planned for me will
we, the
be
media,
shown
I
as long as I keep
30
doing what's
years,
in my heart.
have not been credible. We have lost trust. And that's just, I think that's really bad. And it's something that we need to fix. And the obvious problem is something we said we were going to correct in 2016, which is we don't know anybody who votes for Trump. And so you really got the sense watching everybody that, like, it's kind of embarrassing to support Trump or whatever. And that's why the rallies were such a huge shock to a lot of people. In the last week, all these people unapologetically saying, I love Donald Trump. And it's like, I've never met anybody who says something. Who are these people?
you're
We have a huge
amazing. What
problem
would
in
I
our
do without
business
you?
with being cut off from the country we cover. And I would say a lot of power centers in this country have that problem, but we have it in the media. And I really sincerely hope we fix it because we're moving toward like zero credibility, and that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Molly Hemingway earlier in the show about the president and his supporters feeling like he was not running only against Joe Biden, but was against a lot of the media as well. He couldn't get on some of those rallies. We aired rallies from Democrats and the president throughout this process. But they always felt like it was an uphill battle. He still has a path to 270 tonight. And as Britt mentions every few minutes, the betting odds are increasing for President Trump.
Well, they are. And I have to say, because I think I'm bitter about it, and it's worth being bitter about. We found out in the final days of this campaign that members of the president's family were under an active FBI investigation into business deals that I think, pretty conclusively proved he knew about, parts of which he approved of.
Amen.
Tony Bobulinski was a direct participant in those conversations with the former vice president, not accusing him of a crime, but merely saying he was involved. And that story was utterly squelched. Bobulinski's name wasn't mentioned on any other channel apart from Fox News. It was completely ignored on purpose, not because it wasn't newsworthy. It most certainly was newsworthy, but because they were taking a partisan position on behalf of a presidential candidate. Now, it's not just a matter of being annoyed that the media are liberal or whatever. They've always been liberal. That's fine. I'm not mad about that. I accept it as reality. Why it's scary is that on a night like tonight,
the numbers.
country,
There we
350
go.
million of us will only know who the president is when the media tell us. And so it's very
Indiana,
important for the media to behave in ways
West
that
Virginia,
allow us to
North
trust
Trump.
them. It's important for the future of the country, I think.
Look at that. Look at that, John. Look at that. Ah, he pulled away. He pulled away, John. Ohio is ours. Sorry, I had to do that one real quick. Here we go. Every time I start laughing, they fuck up. Hold on.
These calls
There we
that
go.
we haven't made yet, going a little bit more towards Donald Trump's way. What are you seeing?
Well, first of all, we're looking at states that Donald Trump carried in 2016, either by a percentage point or, less than 4%. So I'm not surprised at where the numbers are now.
Oh, it's exactly what I was thinking, Angel. Trump took Kansas. Good.
I still believe that there's a path for Joe Biden.
Wait.
South Carolina is now going in for Trump. You're right, John. I missed
You
it.
say that there's a path?
She is very evil.
No, I haven't changed my prediction.
She's the only one that, remember earlier, guys, about the documents I talked about that came out. The FBI was hiding some documents on Mr. Rich. Yeah, well, she's involved.
I still believe that Joe Biden has several paths. Look, we haven't called,
Read her book.
Georgia. We haven't
She was scared to death when he was killed. Why?
In Donald Trump's direction in Florida.
She quit her job, feared for her life, blah, blah,
Pennsylvania
blah.
has not come in. Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, Texas, Wisconsin. So the night is still young.
Michigan is ours. Have you not looked at the Michigan numbers? Pennsylvania will be ours. Florida is done. Why is Florida still yellow?
Yeah, we've got states all across the bottom.
Hi, Antonio.
Too early to
Holy
call
cow, it's
which
been
are very
years.
Important states in this.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Dukakis, reject
Philadelphia,
Donna.
that says that Philadelphia officials say that they will not.
She
be
sure
reporting
is. She's the one that gave
anyone
Hillary
mail
Clinton
ballots
the question, remember?
76,000 have been tallied.
She got fired from CNN for it. So Fox hired her.
350,000 that have been received. Does that surprise you?
She's
And,
another Juan
everybody
Williams,
obviously is
like,
watching
like
Pennsylvania really closely. We'll probably be
their
watching
idea
for
of being fair and
days
balanced,
to
which
come,
is
it looks like.
ridiculous.
Well, first of all, secure the ballots. Let's make sure.
That's what I said, Deborah. Florida's red. What are you talking about? Like, Florida's done.
You'd think they'd want to get this.
But they're saying they're going to wait, even though 95% of the vote is
It's
it.
going to be Friday before they're able to sort of.
There's like 16% of the vote in some places they're calling, for Christ's sakes, but 95% of the vote is in for Florida and they don't want to call it.
This is a state that was supposed to have all the mail-in ballots received by tonight, by close of business.
Oh, wow, shit. I
Instead,
didn't know that.
Use some administrative measures and a court decision to move it till Friday. So I'd keep the people at it, but they may.
Look at
just say,
Pennsylvania.
Our progress is such, give them the benefit of the doubt.
Come on
Our
now.
Progress is such
Keep
that
it
we
going,
don't need to
Trump.
work
Pull
24
that
hours a
bit
day.
out.
We can
Keep
get this
going.
thing done in the next day or two. And certainly before the deadline of Friday.
Because this is on this is on Fox live
Rather
stream.
than later, even if it is an
You actually have to sign into it,
has to be
like through
subsequently
your
certified
cable
by the
news
Secretary
account.
of
It's not on like Fox, the YouTube channel.
Texas. So
Like I had to sign into my
bullish on,
Spectrum accounts to show you guys all this.
Texas, our Texas, all hail the mighty state.
And
Of
every
course it's
single
gonna
news
be-
channel, I had to
it's gonna
sign
be
into my
John,
Spectrum account for that.
Yeah, thank you. The one, the musical interlude.
That's
here.
why.
Can I say something about North Carolina?
Wait. So
Yes,
you're
comes
done
in
with
quick for
Texas. You think
Trump,
it's true?
and then it'll be done. Done.
Republicans will carry.
Yo,
to the
after I saw that
presidential
57,000, John, I
level.
just
The number
know in my
Senator Ford
heart
is running
that
like
that's
6
going to
points
be
ahead of his
he's
Democratic
taking
challenger,
it. He's
despite the
taking
fact
that.
that something like $50
Yes, he did take
million
Kansas,
is spent
guys.
in
He
the
took
last 6
Kansas.
weeks, including $28 million by Silicon
90%
Valley
in.
the last
He's
week.
fine. Oh, that's getting close, guys.
Not
Look
only
at
that, but
North
the Republicans are
Carolina.
gonna keep the state House of
Stay ahead, bud.
Representatives,
Stay
which, as I
ahead.
said earlier, was just a gigantic.
They're almost done
amount
there,
of money
though.
thrown on Texas, but we're gonna
But they
hold
keep
on to-
calling them.
Hold on to that as well.
And what were you going to say?
Well, let me say something about North Carolina.
Okay.
This is why election nights are so interesting, because you may have just noticed that Trump's margin has grown a little bit. And not only that, but Tom Tillis is now leading in the Senate race.
Yeah, Kansas. I just called
And,
Kansas a second ago. Yep.
What's interesting to me is it's a handful of counties. Mecklenburg,
Thank
which
you,
is Charlotte,
everybody,
and Wake,
for
which
dropping
is
ones that
Raleigh,
I'm missing.
and
I
Greensboro,
appreciate
which is
it.
surprisingly enough Greensboro. They're sort of mostly
Or
all in.
if you catch 'em on
And
another
why-
thing,
what
let
was
me know.
happening
I'll
is
announce
that
it.
a handful of counties, Union and Johnston were the biggest ones, and then there are Franklin,
Tillis.
Granville, and Caswell, smaller counties.
Yeah, we got
They
it.
had sort.
Man, wouldn't it be a miracle if we took all 3 guys? It would be like,
just to the east of Charlotte. And
I don't know. I just feel like it would be almost divine, like
Wake. Came,
fate. It would be fate. There we go.
Johnston
Fate.
started to come in and flipped it, because these counties Union
Oh yeah, you
County
know
went-
that, Jason.
went,
You know it.
last time
Yeah, no
around,
way. There would
81 to
the day
19
Texas goes
Republican.
blue.
Johnston County went 64-32.
Okay, then
Republican.
if Texas
And
goes
about
blue, then I
200,000
believe
votes
California can
there.
go
And
red.
just
How about
as
that?
one of those counties comes in, North Carolina is so close that it flipped it from being from a Biden lead to a Trump lead, and from a Cunningham lead to a Tillis lead. And we got one other big county, and then 3 smaller counties to come in. Now there's some stuff in Charlotte and stuff in Raleigh yet to come in, but it's like a small percentage of the vote. This is going to be tight as a tick, and we're going to literally be waiting
90%
here
is
for
in,
all
yeah.
these little places.
That's
you
what I'm
can-
saying, John.
there's a
I'm watching
County
this one because it's
Perkins,
90% in,
63,
and Trump's
39
pulling away.
for
Trump's pulling away.
excuse me, 34 in
His keeps going.
2016.
Biden's hasn't moved.
And over on the Atlantic Ocean, small county, we haven't heard anything from that county. So the big city versus the little counties and a couple of mid-sized counties, it's going to be a long
North Carolina,
night.
yeah, right now. It's
Well,
literally as we speak.
Trump won these states in 2016, small margin, and they're.
Is that what you're going to say all night, Donna?
Very close.
He won it in 2016. He won it in 20. Well, duh, he won in 2016, Donna.
I apologize. I don't know anybody. Yeah, Carl's gonna give me the phone number.
Incidentally, I got some criticism for the ding on my phone. I'm sorry. It actually
Pardon me, guys. I'm sorry.
I got an
Probably
email from a friend. who
not
said
blow my
that
nose while I'm
ding
doing
on-
this, but I
on the
figure it's
air
better
made
than
the whole
sniffling.
country just check their phones. Nice work.
Well, the singing we could do without too. All right, Katie, give us your thoughts.
Biden.
I think President Trump's still in really good shape.
Oh, absolutely.
Is the
Get him, girl.
The ticket here that has been trying to explain away losing states like Florida, Georgia, obviously still in play. We may not have the results now from Fulton County as a result of the water main break for a couple of days, according to election officials there. But in terms of Philadelphia, not reporting any more absentee ballots tonight, and that may be
Right, it's not on Fox on TV. It's on Fox Online. You have to sign in.
because they had this court ruling that allows
Yep.
absentee
I'll show you in a
ballots to
second.
be
I'll back out of it so you can see what it looks like.
stamped in the mail past election.
I'm on
day. They have some
NBC,
breathing
and
room
it's
there,
when you go
in
in,
terms
you
of getting them all
like you go to
counted and
NBC.com or
counted.
Fox. Hang on, or Fox.com, right? And when you do, like I did right here at FoxNews.com, it'll say log in. Well, I logged in, and then next to log in, it'll say sign in to your cable account, and it'll offer like Spectrum and the Dish and whatever many different cable options you may have. Whatever you guys have in your home, and I happen to have Spectrum, so I signed into that, and then it lets me get into all the live accounts for free. Because basically I pay for it through my cable bill. A lot of them, Jason, a lot of them, not all of them.
However, there's been this
Every
massive
state's different.
controversy with the attorney general there, who said
We're
earlier
close
in the
right
week,
now,
just
you know
yesterday,
it.
that as long as all of the
Keep
votes
it
are
up there.
counted, President Trump will lose.
Carolina, North Carolina is what I'm watching right now.
That race yet, and so it begs the question.
That's the
about,
race to
what
watch.
the actual reason is behind them not finishing out the electoral votes tonight in terms of getting the absentee ballots counted and ready to go for the next couple of days.
Yes.
Great point. Let's go to Bill Hemmer, who is at the billboard.
Hey guys, good to meet you.
Hi, Bill. What have
Here
you
we
got-
go, here we go.
After you look, I'd love to look at Arizona and get your thoughts on that.
Well,
Where are we starting here?
guys, I'm going to give
Trump
you a spin around here, okay? Because there is a lot of action in these battleground states right now. Here we go,
John.
What the Trump campaign is saying that their election day vote is now coming home. They're
That's
also
right.
suggesting in northeastern
Yeah.
voters are going for President Trump. Well, let's see if
Sorry,
that's the case.
told you.
28% of the vote in right now. A small
Told
lead
you.
for President Trump over Joe Biden. We've been saying it for a while now. Pennsylvania is not going to be able to be called tonight. Is that the case?
But that's
We believe
ridiculous.
that to be the case. But look on up here. This is Lackawanna County. Still some votes
Lackawanna,
to
that's
be had
close
out
to
there.
me. I'm in New York.
This is Scranton, PA.
It's probably
This is
2
where
hours
Joe
from
Biden
me.
lived until the age of 9 until he moved to Delaware in 2016. For comparison's sake, you ever?
That's what I'm saying, guys. You really think this many people voted for that demented old sex offender? Are you kidding me?
The Trump team thinks that blue collar vote.
I
in
feel kind of like
northeastern PA
strange,
is
but
coming their way. Couple more
like, am I
things
in the
wanna share with
Twilight
you
Zone?
guys. This is North Carolina.
Do these crazy angry women
This is
hate Trump that much?
26% in favor of
Here we
Donald
go.
Trump. We saw it flip just about 10 minutes ago. Some more votes coming in. Carl talked about this county here. That's Perkins. Just a moment ago, I clicked in. The president has about
Look at
2,500.
He got about a 2,500 vote lead, guys.
In North Carolina. So if this stays now with about 10% more the vote in the Tar Heel state, the president's going to pick up 15 electoral votes in North
Yeah,
Carolina,
buddy.
which was, by the way.
Now look at
what
this
the top
number,
10 said they
and
would
let me
do
show you what
votes.
Google
Let's
says
go
in a
over here
minute,
to Ohio,
okay?
see where that
From
stands
Ohio
right
at the
now.
moment as well. Then I'll wait, John. Hold
Continues
on.
to widen for the president over Joe Biden
Ohio,
here.
80%. Here we
You're
go.
up about 5-6 points right now. Remember, 4
PBS.
years
You
ago,
got
it was about
PBS on
7.5.
too?
So he's
I'll
starting to
hop
hit his
over there in a
mark
second
with
if you'd
20%
like.
of the vote.
You guys just
Still
let me know where you want me to
outstanding.
be.
We talked about the map expanding. Well, let's show you how that's happening here. This is Michigan.
Fox is going to
Watching this
definitely be
now, you
close
got
to
a
being
third
on
of the
top
vote
of
in
it.
right at the moment.
Closest, I
A
imagine.
big part of the vote down here in Wayne County, Detroit is
They've
not
got to
in
be
yet,
for
so
the
we're gonna
conservative
watch
candidate.
that.
You know what I mean?
Further west in Wisconsin, map grows larger,
Knowing
right?
that basically all his
38%
supporters are watching him.
slight lead.
Anomalies popping champagne. Oh, I got him. Hang on. Look, I actually, you know what? I don't have his on there. I have Sticks, Hex and Hammer.
You've got a lot of votes that have not yet.
Oh,
been
you know, I got the
tallied.
wine.
Tends to run later into the night, so we'll see how
Trump,
this measures
pull
up.
away,
This
baby,
is
pull
Dane
away.
County, by the way. That's where Madison is. That's where the University of Wisconsin is located. He had a ton of votes for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. So Joe Biden hasn't yet hit that mark. She had 217,000 and 75%. So he's 144.
Michigan
So I
too
would
now.
imagine in a
Okay.
liberal county like Dane,
Well, hang on.
county,
Then
Wisconsin, that there's more votes out there for Democrats.
he's letting
than
him
we
get.
have.
Well, if he
One of
doesn't
the
cover
big
him, then I'll
scores,
move
the
after
Trump team
this
told
one.
me
Yeah.
that earlier tonight that they had about half
Trump
a dozen
61,
counties in
Biden
Wisconsin that
33,
ran out
North
of
Dakota.
ballots, and
Okay.
they had to go out and get more. Some of them are right
Good
here in the
deal.
center part of the state, Juneau County. There's not a ton of votes to be had anyway.
Wisconsin.
Nonetheless, though, Wood County, just north of it,
Wisconsin,
they ran out of
guys.
ballots apparently. Had to gather more, perhaps they.
I told you, we're going to take all of them. We're going to take every effing swing state. We're going to shove it, the whole thing in, not the no lube, doing it raw. We're taking every effing swing state. You mark my words.
22,000 votes in Wisconsin.
I hope he
These votes
does.
now matter
Angel,
in
you know,
2020
that
from
would be
rural
the.
areas
I don't know
where
why
Donald
one
Trump
of his
has
sons
been
isn't
born
already
at,
on
he's
it, to
been
be honest.
campaigning. He's been working
I'm
hard
hoping
for
they work with like
Wisconsin.
OAN
The
or
campaign
something.
thinks they've got a shot. I talked to one of the high-ranking members of the campaign a bit earlier today. They had a split opinion, actually. One gentleman thought Pennsylvania was more likely to flip toward Trump.
Me too, Jason.
The other thought Wisconsin.
I'm upstate.
I don't know.
Oh,
if
we're not
either
that far
one is
apart.
right.
I'm Monroe.
They were laying odds a bit earlier today based on what they were seeing from the results tonight. You mentioned Arizona, Martha. Let's go check it out, okay? You know, this is Maricopa County. This is Phoenix. You've got about 71% of the vote tally. By the way, it's the first time I've seen it. I think it's the first time you guys have seen it too, right? Joe Biden with a slight lead here now at 54-44. This is Maricopa. This is, look, it's you win your elections here in Pima County with Tucson and up here in Maricopa. At the moment, 54-44. That's a 10-point edge. Let's see what they did 4 years ago. Donald Trump, pretty impressive, 51-48. So there's more votes to be had there as well. Come back to 2020. And we'll see how much more we get in here in Arizona at the moment.
Yes,
11
there
electoral
is.
votes. We knew they closed at 9. They would not report until 10 o'clock. It's about 10:17 East Coast time, and they're rolling in, guys.
So in Arizona, like those other states, the early vote we've seen from our
Hell, they
voters
need to hire
analysis
John.
survey
John's already said all this
was
stuff already. Get
6
to the
out of
point.
10
No, I'm just
for Biden in
kidding.
pretty much every state.
Numbers
But
from
then
Michigan,
votes
North
seem to
Carolina,
fill in, as
Pennsylvania,
we've
and
seen in other
Texas.
states.
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
same trend, right, Brett? I mean,
That's
the
why I
skew
kind of
is
don't want to
blue, and then
move
it
because
changes
I
throughout the
feel
course of
like
the
if we're
night.
going to get numbers
that's
from anywhere, the quickest way
been the
we're going to get them
pattern
is
back
here,
in Ohio.
right now.
That's been the pattern down here in
Because
North
you know the
Carolina.
other news channels are going to be trying to spin it, guys. So they're going to avoid winning areas for Trump. They're going to just keep calling out
Georgia's shaping up to be the same way.
bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, this whole question about.
You know
Just
it.
like that,
You
isn't
know
it?
it, Jason.
about
You see
whether
the new one
there's
with
a
him
path
on
through the
Rogan?
Sun
That was
Belt
the
or
best
through
one
the
yet.
Rust Belt, you know, we're starting to see that Sun Belt area. That's why I wanted to take a look at Arizona, and I saw that there's a pretty decent gap right now between Martha McSally and Mark Kelly, in favor of Mark Kelly, at least at this point. We've got, I think we have about 71% of the vote in the state in. So one to watch as we get a little bit closer to
Yeah,
that.
it was a BYOB type night. That's what I told everybody. Everybody,
Those are
get
closed
ready.
in the biggest
420.
states
It's
in the
420
race
for the
White
whole
House. We're going to bring
evening.
you all the latest data from our decision desk as it comes in.
All right.
Laura Ingram is on deck to join us as our Democracy 2020 coverage rolls on after this.
Let me just check something out real quick while we're doing this. Hold on.
Our retirement plan with Boya?
Let's see what Google's saying now. Look at this. They're still saying Trump only has 98. Still, do you see this, John? This is Google. This is why I said they want to control everything. They want to change the election and like totally debase, what do you call it? Debase his support. This is just insane. Hang on. I just want to see something. I just want to see. Look at all that red in New York, you guys. Look at all that red in New York. Like, do you know how much in New York would be red if it wasn't for the city? It's kind of crazy. What's this? Oh, let me pull it up. 6 minutes away for the states mentioned before right now. Okay, I'll get back to it. I promise. I promise. I'm gonna go right this. They'll probably be back from a commercial in a minute.
7 days a week.
It's right here. All right, let me just see what any of the other ones are saying.
Tony, what you doing?
We'll be viewing some of TV's best plays. They got such.
As soon as it comes back on, I'll switch back over.
There's always a perfect play. Tubi, download now on your favorite devices. Here's a hint about how to make working from home less stressful and more comfortable.
There we go.
Make the switch to X-Chair. Infinite side float recline and dynamic variable.
Yeah, I got Sticks, Bloomberg, Yahoo. I don't know what Yahoo says.
Customized for the same measure of amazing comfort.
Yeah, let's see what Yahoo says real quick. Yahoo Finance.
Ready to ship the next
Let's see.
day. And you can get one
Notice every one of these, I want you guys to see this. Every single one of these pages, YouTube has put a disclaimer on that says U.S. elections results may not be final. See the latest. Where does it tell you to go? Where does it tell me to go, guys, to see the latest results? On Google. Then it tells me I can click right here, and it will show you that map that I just showed you where the numbers were incorrect. Right? Yeah, exactly. So that you don't go vote last minute because you don't think there's a chance for your candidate. Oh yeah, they're setting up that coup. You know they are. Black Lives Matter Plaza. Here it is.
Where this race stands at this hour in Florida.
Okay, hang on. Let me pause this and go back. Fox is back.
Precincts in.
This is important.
0.3% to 47.8.
Here we go.
In Georgia. There you go. 56% of the precincts in, and you see Donald Trump. Again, some of that other vote, as we talked about. And then North Carolina, a very close race there in North Carolina, but 91% of the precincts in. Again, all of those too early to call at this hour.
And let's take a look at the overall electoral map as it stands right now in the race to 270. Joe Biden at 129, President Trump at 109.
Here we go.
Percentage
Go,
there,
here we go. Florida,
48.2 to 50.2 as we stand, 0.3 as we stand this evening. Things are changing by the second. at
Popular
7:22.
vote. That
Let's get
means
some thoughts from Laura
nothing.
Ingram,
I hate how they talk about that damn popular vote.
Thoughts on
When
how
you can
things are
listen,
looking
you want to know when I give a shit about the popular vote, Fox, NBC, and all the rest of you that keep shoving that damn thing down my throat? I'll give a about the. It's after 9. I'll give a fuck about the popular vote when that matters when it comes to electing a president, and it doesn't.
So far, Laura, at this point in the evening, we've got some information and quite a bit more to come in.
Yeah, well, the in-person votes usually are the last to be counted, except with the mail-in ballots that are going to be rolling in postmarked today.
Excuse me.
So we have to keep that in mind. But I think that when we look at Florida and focusing on the GOP for a moment, Martha and Brett, the coalition
I gotta
that the
go get a refill on
Republicans
my
have been
drink.
able
Come
to put
on,
together
come
in
on.
that state is really something that they should try to replicate as much as possible going forward up and down the East Coast with a
Yeah, they're just
strong
keep throwing
contingent
that popular
of
vote
seniors,
bullshit out to try to
Latinos,
mess with people.
young professionals,
Confuse 'em.
African American.
A lot of people are, but you know what? Believe it or not, for the debates, Jason,
all of those
hang on.
categories with higher
For the debates, we actually had a lot of liberals in here, and we had actually a lot of liberals asking decent questions. They were being decent. I think I covered a lot of the Hunter Biden stuff, and that kind of turned some people off. But I'm sorry, that's just me. I'm not going to. If it was Donald Trump Jr., I would have covered it. It's child prawn, man. Child prawn. Can't say the real word, but you know what I'm talking about.
So we'll see what happens as the night goes forward. But to me, Florida is the future for the Republican
Look
Party.
at this. Do you see this? 129 to 109. Now wait, I want to show you guys something very importantly. Well, I'll wait.
about this all the time.
You
about
see
the
these numbers.
president's policies toward China
Electoral.
being
That's all that
tough toward
matters.
China.
Electoral
Right now,
scorecard to
according the Wall
270.
Street Journal, the Chinese yuan has started to tank.
Chinese yuan tanking,
And it is-
tanking.
What does that
Chinese
tell
yuan tanking. Guess what that means, John? Tell him, John. Tell him what that means, John. Tell him what that means, John.
Well, Britt has.
Oh,
64% on
Kate, you're
the
focusing on
overseas
electoral
betting,
votes only from New
leaning
York.
toward Trump. And
Really?
the Chinese are watching all of this.
I have to go back and look
right
at that.
now,
I didn't know it
they
even
are
mattered
indicating to
electoral like
us
from New
that
York
they
because
believe the tariffs that Donald Trump
I always
put
thought
on,
it didn't matter.
the
That's
whole
I still
swath of
go.
Chinese
I
goods,
just
they're here to stay.
I stay
for the
registered
foreseeable
Democrat
future,
so I could vote in
and
the
that obviously
primary.
hurts their currency, at least in the short
Unless
term.
it's
So
a
that's
Republican
significant
running and I want to
metric,
vote in the
but it's just
Republican
how they're
primary.
reading the data that's coming in right now. But
What,
I have to
Jason?
say, when we look at the sheer numbers of people
Upstate
who turned
is,
out to vote,
but no way.
we had a very engaged electorate this election season, and
That would be
and there are
all
a lot
over.
of people who said
New
that
Jersey.
Joe Biden made a smart call and
blow this
running
back
on the
up.
pandemic,
New
and,
Jersey,
and
Georgia.
hanging
See, I
back
can't show
and
you the
letting
bottom
Trump,
if I show you the top. Hold
go
on.
out there and dominate the stage because people were tired
Okay,
of
hold
Trump.
on. Electoral
I
votes
think
are
that
what
was
counts
a,
to me. Yes,
you know,
right. That's what I was
really
trying to say.
Misguided.
That's all that
way of
matters.
looking
Popular
at
vote don't
things.
mean
I think,
shit. It's
as
all
you
about
saw after
electoral.
he
What
recovered
bothers
from
me is
COVID,
that New York
he has
called
been-
it already and didn't even like you could. They just automatically assume as long as New York City stayed blue, and it's crazy because Cuomo killed so many people upstate nursing homes, you guys. So they all went out and voted for Trump, and it didn't even matter. Like it didn't. They outweigh that New York City vote.
nonstop. And I think a lot of folks, as time went on,
And Cuomo made this
began
New
to
York City
really
feel
respect
like
that he was
they were
fighting
he was taking care of
in their
everything.
mind for every vote that he could get in those swing states. And it was a breakneck pace. Obviously,
So
Joe
far,
Biden
the
could not
president
keep
is
up with that or
listen.
didn't want to
The
keep up.
Chinese yuan has tanked. The Chinese yuan has tanked, meaning they know Joe Biden ain't winning, y'all. They were for Joe. The yuan has tanked. They know Trump's doing another 4 years, and they are fudged. Ha ha, John.
With it. And those crowds.
Tell
you
him.
know, again, a lot
Tell
of
him,
people didn't
John.
talk
Tell him
about,
what it means.
They were a metric of energy and excitement that
Oh, I know it.
I just did not
The
see
Cuomo.
replicated on the other side.
Oh,
At least
what's
the
Gina
emotion of it, for
Haspel,
whatever that's worth tonight.
Chris
And,
Ray,
I think in the end,
Mark
the
Ala-
love
or
for the
what's
country,
that
the love
one?
for the
Oh, I
average
can't think of his
worker,
name.
They're going to say Trump.
Esper,
the
Mark
dislike
Esper,
that the left
they're all
has for
gone.
Donald Trump, his
Mark
tone
my
and
words.
tweets and some of his past
Bye-bye.
comments.
Laura, a lot of people have wanted the president, people who support him have wanted him to focus more on the economy and on recovering from coronavirus. He really swung around to that in a stronger way in the final days as he campaigned through the course of these rallies. The NASDAQ futures are up over 3% this evening. And
Wow.
it just reminds me of, the discussion that was had in 2016. And I want to keep reiterating, we got a long way to go here in this evening tonight. But, it was all doom and gloom that he was going to sort of make all the markets crash. And I think, would never, ever recover. The stock market would never, ever recover.
Yeah,
Remember
it was
that?
going to be. Yeah, Martha, you hit the nail on the head. In the spring, it was the Great Depression was coming. It was going to be not just a long, dark winter. It was going to be a long, dark decade. We heard some people saying, was it going to be a decade before we'd recover? How can any incumbent president overcome a depression, a pandemic, and in concern about his tone? That was never possible. And I've got to say, for whatever people think about Donald Trump, the personality, he never gave up on his winning formula of policies, which is America first, enforce the border, tighten the labor market, see wages go up, which you saw 6,000 for the average family income, median family income through the last year. These were significant advances for African Americans, Latinos. Some of that is paying off tonight. I think people are worried that we're going to go into a shutdown next year as they see a lockdown happening across Europe. And I think that lockdown versus liberty dichotomy, I think in the end, that ended up helping with women who want their kids back in school. And I think it began to motivate even some younger voters who, maybe were led to believe on social media that Donald Trump was a terrible, awful, rotten person.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see as the micro analysis goes forward.
will.
But I think a lot of people in Trump country are feeling pretty happy right
Yeah,
now.
Laura, thank you. I just want to point out 3.6% up on the NASDAQ futures at this point, which is a huge leap. We'll see what happens overnight. Laura, thank you.
Thank you. Let's head
Sorry,
back
I had to
now
go
across the
take
Hudson River. Harris
mini
Faulkner
break.
Live with some voters tonight in beautiful Liberty State Park.
I'm sure John took care of it
Again,
all
Harris.
for me. Did I miss anything?
Hello, Brett and Martha. It is time again to hear the voters' voices, and we're going to get some of the grittier issues around this election. Some of the things that you were just talking about, Latino, black vote, that sort of thing. Our panel voters back with us now, watching the night unfold along with much of America. Two Joe Biden supporters, Amanda A., Natalie Rojas, and backing President Trump, John L. and Janet P. Natalie, I'm going to start with you because it looks like in Florida, and we can't call anything there yet. Fox News not doing it yet.
Of course not.
But how much work do Democrats need to do with the
96%.
Latino voters? Not a monolithic group, any of us as people of color, we know that. But Biden is missing the mark so much more than even Hillary Clinton.
Yep, told you.
Like you said, we're not a monolith. There are, Cubans, I'm sure you're familiar with the line. Cubans, usually vote for Republican. Puerto Ricans vote for Democrats. And we've actually seen a huge turnout of Puerto Ricans tonight. And I think, I think the thing is that, people expect demographic change to happen in the general receiving centers for immigrants. So New York, Miami, Los Angeles, that kind of thing.
Vanessa, it's starting to look like there's less of a
Michigan, those centers that we don't really
everywhere's
think
starting
about,
to spin their narrative as to why Trump's taking all these states. Put it that way. It's looking as if Trump is definitely. We're waiting on a couple more numbers to come in, and we pretty much can call
has
it.
not done as well, though, even as the previous Democrat.
Exactly. They thought they had him down with that Corona shit that they paid China to leak. I'm sure.
Well, again, we
Bill
are
Gates
just
did.
trying to make sure that everybody has
Promised them part of that good vaccine money.
Whether that's tonight or tomorrow. Janet, I want to come to you because we're focused so much on Georgia tonight. Fulton County, a very large black vote there. You obviously are a Trump supporter, haven't always been a Republican, predominantly a Democrat. What do you think that maybe Democrats are missing about that particular voting bloc?
I really think that the Democrats they're probably missing on the things that are most important. When it comes to law and order, the support of our police, some of the policies, I think that they're missing on the finer points of things.
That's right, Nancy. That's so true.
Democrats have a tendency to see things in a monolithic way.
I kind of feel like this is like a good versus evil election, no joke. I never thought like that before because I felt like that was a liberal way of thinking, that they thought we were evil and not just
I do want to say
that our
Joe Biden
ideas
right now from the Fox
they didn't
News
agree
voter
with. But
analysis,
I really
Amanda,
feel like they
does
have
show
become
that
this
black voters are still very strong for Joe Biden.
evil
They haven't fully
mob
counted
of
Fulton County yet, so we'll see what happens
just
there.
unrealistic
But some of these same
nonsense.
issues, as a minister, I know that you've been watching just different demographics in your congregation. The coronavirus was something that Joe Biden thought he could really hit home with. As a Biden voter, how do you think he did with that? Did that turn out to be the thing that he could win it with as much as people thought?
I think it's one of the things. I think when we talk about the economy, we can't actually fix the economy without first addressing this global pandemic that we're part of. And that resonates with Democratic voters, of course. Another thing that I really hope we can figure out a table to have a conversation around is all of these interlocking injustices. We can't really talk about racial injustice without talking about climate justice. And we can't talk about climate justice without talking about economic justice and environmental justice. It's all related. And I don't think we're doing a good job on a national level of laying that space for having this conversation that says all of these things are connected. I also really believe
that's
that
a
we've got
progressive liberal ideology if I've ever heard one before in my life.
We need to cultivate a prophetic imagination and the moral courage to move this country into a place where all.
Hey guys, does anything she just said in the last 30 seconds even actually comport to anything but nonsense? And what do you call them? Just bullshit, weasel words. Weasel words.
Can flourish. Right now, we are very far from that. There are 38 million children in this country
Oh, there's
who
children.
are poor and low income, and that's not the world that any of us want.
You know, John, I'm curious to get your thoughts as a police officer as we go forth. You know, there's still talk of how we're going to deal with the unrest in the streets that had nothing to do with George Floyd or other problems that were going on.
Yep.
They had to do with people who were just angry in the streets, some of them committing crimes. As a
Opportunists.
going forward, what's your view on it all?
Well, you know, I think the woman who just spoke before me, and I apologize for forgetting her name, we do need to come together. We need to figure out a way to come from our corners and work together to get things right. You know, I think the problem that we have on the law enforcement side is the people on the left want to tell us, you know, why we're wrong, why we, you know, why we shouldn't vote for Joe Biden, or that we're a bad person if we do it, for a bad person we do that. We need to come together, and both sides need to meet in the middle and try to fix this. Law enforcement is ready. We're here to help serve people and keep our communities safe.
Lindsey
And it's
Graham won.
the citizens of the cities that suffer
Nice.
the most when this
Nice.
unrest breaks out, because a lot of times
Thank
it's not
you.
them committing these acts of violence.
John, real quickly before we have to go, why do you
You know
think
that
Joe
pisses
Biden
off the
didn't
list.
get the backing of many of the police
They
officers
blame him for that,
President Trump did?
Amy-
You
for Amy
yourself were a
Comey
Trump
getting
voter, so you probably have a good
through.
idea.
Because we don't trust that Joe
Him and Mitch.
Biden supports us. When Joe Biden goes on national television and tells us to de-escalate a situation by shooting someone in the leg, it clearly tells us that he could care less about us and has no idea about the
They
job
dumped
we're doing.
millions to try to get him out, and they still
To
lost.
Voters
Oh yeah.
Voices, thank you for being with us on Fox News Channel tonight. So good to meet you all. And thanks for voting, the most American thing that we do. Martha Brett, it has just been a pleasure to talk with people, real people, about the issues that matter to them as you guys watch
So
this
true.
race unfold. We'll be up all night, it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like we're a long way away.
Great group. So look now at where the race stands to 270 at this hour. Long list of crucial
Look at the numbers.
battlegrounds, folks, that are still too early.
Yep,
to
this is my
call.
second
We
time
are
too,
just
Jason.
getting rolling this
I actually
season.
was
So
a Bernie.
still in here with
I was a
us,
burner
plus another
until he told me after spending 15 months telling me Hillary wasn't fit for office, after she robbed the primary from him in front of her, and we proved the fraud. He stood there and sold us out to her, and that was it. I was done. I never looked back. I voted for Trump out of hate for the Democrats in 2016. I voted for Trump today out of love for him. For sure.
4 states closing their polls a short time from now. Quick break. We'll be right back.
All right, I want to just show you something really quick.
Sweetheart, do my forearms look bigger?
They look the same.
Yeah.
I've been spinning faster recently. I think they're getting bigger. Feel them.
Come over here. Come down here. Go to that Google thing. Look at the oh, okay. They finally are starting to catch up a little, but they're still shorting the president.
You know, like the sign says.
It's ridiculous. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Ohio, look at that. Look at that pull away. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at Pennsylvania. Look at Wisconsin. Guys, look at Texas, 71% in. Thought you were going to turn Texas blue. Guys, look at this. Look at this. Nice. Nice. All right, let me go. I want to do one more thing. Excuse me, bless me.
In those counties by 45,000 votes.
No, but isn't Wisconsin one of those that isn't going to be counting the absentee and mail-in ballots?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know. But
Utah to
even on
Trump.
election
Utah to Trump.
I'm really surprised to
Yes,
see numbers
yes,
like that.
Angel.
And you still are going
He
to have
sure
all the rural
was.
areas.
He was the
in
one that
Wisconsin as
was
well, but
hurting
that was a
us
state
young
when I looked at their
independent
early voting
voters
numbers on the
right
partisan level.
into
I
the
told you this
Democratic
morning,
Party trap.
I would be concerned. I mentioned Wisconsin,
it broke
Minnesota,
my heart.
and Michigan. I'd be concerned about
It
all three
turned
of
me
those
off
states.
to
How are we
voting
doing
for
in
him.
Michigan and Minnesota?
Angel, I was in Philly. I was in Philly for the DNC when Hillary stole that, and we were all outside, protesting in the streets. We were carrying the coffin, saying the democracy had died, all that. And 6 months later, I cast a ballot for Donald Trump out of my hate for the DNC, for the Democratic Party, for what they had done to Seth Rich, for everything.
Now, we're at the point of the evening now where Democrat governor chicanery comes into play.
Amen. Tell
Because
them.
of the trend line. They didn't win. They didn't get any of the early pickups that they needed.
Right. This is where we need to pay attention.
Georgia, I mean, the idea that you were going to lose Florida and win Georgia, to me, you're either losing both or winning both. If you're a Democrat. Like I could see a Republican splitting those states, but the Democrats, that's a package deal for you. All right. So they didn't get the pickup there. They're not going to get the pickup in North Carolina. Looking at the numbers of what's left out there, I guess Trump's going to win by about the 2 points that Trafalgar forecasted. They're not going to get a pickup in Ohio. They had a strong early start there with the dump of the early votes. Trump's going to win it probably by 6 or 7 points based on what I'm seeing right now. So they're running out of pickups that they need. And those, that's the blue wall there now, the chicanery with the Democratic governors. So I may be a little bit cautious for the next stanza while I wait to get a little bit more data out of those states, because the trend lines in those states look very good for Donald Trump.
So let me go back to Wisconsin. First of all, the last poll that was taken, Real Clear Politics, had Biden up by 9.2. And it is one of the states that the mail-in and absentee ballots are counted on election day. So we're going to be getting all of their numbers.
Did you just say up by 9.2?
He overperformed last year. The Real Clear,
up by 9. Biden is up by 9 points in Wisconsin. Oh, in the poll he was, but that's not what's happening as we see right here. Surprise!
So clearly, they don't know how to poll the state of Wisconsin. That's been established.
Trump takes Louisiana.
Whether he wins it or not, they don't know how to poll this state.
I'm wondering what if we're later going to be able to find a trend in those states like Florida that went back to work, and then other states like Michigan, where they were very oppressive.
Right. Yeah, probably so. I'll say that Trump has already surpassed. I made
the red tide is rolling, he said.
And then a more optimistic election map. He definitely
so
has
happy.
already surpassed my pessimistic.
Here we go. Hold on.
And so I
Hold
like
up.
what Steve
Hold up. Doom. Sorry. Busted out some of my 90s.
Really a surprise there, but it ticks up into the president's column.
Here we go.
As we go towards
just
270.
called.
We are watching a lot of states that are kind
Utah.
of
We already called that one,
bubble here, and we're also looking at our voter analysis surveys that talk to about 150,000 Americans around the country.
So let's check in with Shannon Bream, who is here with more analysis of all of that fascinating information that's deep in all these pages. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, Brett and Martha. So let's look at Florida, where it's very tight and it hasn't been called yet. If it does go for President Trump, here is going to be one of the keys why. Seniors are backing him. Now, this comes after concerns that he might be losing them because of the way that he handled the coronavirus pandemic. Also this, Cuban voters are going for Trump, but more broadly, Hispanics as a voting bloc.
19%.
They're behind Biden. 8 in 10 voters there in Florida say it's important to them that the next president shake up the political system. Now, that includes close to half who say it's very important to them. Those are voters who broke for Trump by more than 10 points. On the other hand, most Florida voters
most of my friends are all, I turned most of my friends into Trump supporters. Isn't that crazy? The ones I have, the few I have, I turned to Trump.
In the Sunshine State, the voters there believe that Donald Trump stands up for what he believes in. Now, those voters broke for the president by an almost 2-to-1 margin. Interestingly enough, though, the angry voters that made up such an important part of Trump's voters 4 years ago,
Kentucky and Indiana,
Biden's column by a wide margin. So a lot more numbers to come.
These are the ones I'm waiting for, right at the bottom. These 7. But really,
Thank you
very much.
this one's already
Stuart
done.
Varney hosted Varney and
It's
Company
this
on Fox
one,
Business Network.
this
joins
one,
us now.
and this one.
Stuart, you've been watching this. We talked a little bit about the markets,
Yeah,
the
no,
futures.
Michigan,
We talked a little bit
Pennsylvania, and
about the
Wisconsin.
Chinese yuan.
That's what I want
What
to
do you
know.
say?
I don't think I can
We've
go to
seen a
bed till I know
remarkable
that.
switch just in the last hour or so.
I'm a
The
definite
betting
loner.
markets.
My circle's as
About
small
2
as a
hours
dot,
ago,
girl.
The betting was favoring Joe Biden to win. Now, the betting market gives Donald Trump a 65% chance of winning. So you've got a real
Oh, that
switch
sucks.
there.
That's needed.
If you look at
Oh,
the stock market,
in the
we're looking at a
house, in the
continuing
house.
strong rally. The NASDAQ, for example, that's the home of all those popular big-name technology companies. That is up 3.5%. That is a whopping great big gain.
What do they say?
For that particular
What do they say when you see land and you're on the land ho like that? But this one's red wave ho. Yeah, it's coming, baby.
Stock prices across the board on the upside as we speak. Look at it on
It's
your
coming. I
screen
can
right
feel it.
now. So the President
All
Trump
these people
seems to be
that they
putting in a
thought were
strong
gonna just
showing,
let
and
this
investors
let
like
them
that.
walk away
So
with
the
this.
gains of the stock market that we saw on Monday and Tuesday, 1,000 points
They
up on
loves
the
me.
Dow, that is holding. And Brett, I got to tell you, this is very important to ordinary people.
yeah.
If I can put it like
I
that.
want. Listen,
Investing is
I
no
guarantee
longer
you,
the
all the
area
billion.
of just
Anybody
for
who
the
has
rich and the
any
elites.
idea about
100
money
million
and
Americans
election,
are now
the ones with the big
investors
money,
in the
they've
market
been voted
through
on Trump. They know.
401ks
They
and
knew.
IRAs. And they are
They
sitting
knew.
on some very nice gains brought to them during the Trump rally of the last 4 years. They don't want to see those gains go away. If, for example, you had $100,000 in your 401k 4 years ago, you were doing well. Now you've probably got 140,000 in your 401k,
Right.
and you want to keep that gain. So what we're seeing at the moment is the market suggesting that Donald Trump will win. The betting market suggesting that Donald Trump will
Hear it?
win.
Hear it? The
In fact,
betting
it reminds
market.
me a lot of
Yay!
2016.
Trump took Missouri.
when
Trump
things
takes
turned
South
around
Dakota.
in the middle of the night. I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to pump our brakes because we have a long way to go. Ohio, North Carolina, very tight. Pennsylvania will not be decided tonight because of all of those ballots. So there's still a lot to work out. But you're right; all of those places seem to be reacting to this shift.
Tennessee. Trump takes
And Stuart, there's
Tennessee.
been obviously such a weight
think
on the market from coronavirus and the shutdowns that we've seen in the UK and in Europe. And that's been one of the things that President Trump has said pretty much everywhere he goes, that he believes that if Joe Biden is
Notice,
elected,
popular
we'll find ourselves in another
vote.
lockdown. Of course, he says that that's not the case, but he wants to deal with the virus first. What's the impact of that?
Oh, you know they are, Angel.
Well, for
But
the
it's not going to
economy
matter because
emerge from
we
the
are already
pandemic,
going to
you've
take
got
in
to open up the
Wisconsin.
economy. States have to
Ohio.
come back on those restrictions that are now
We
imposed.
stole
That has
what?
always
Was
been
it North
President
Carolina?
Trump's
Whatever.
policy.
Listen,
Open up,
this is it. It's done.
expand,
We're
and
getting it.
grow. Joe Biden has taken the other tack. He's being very cautious, prepare and look at health first of all, and therefore he's entertained the idea of more lockdowns. That is not popular with investors. They don't want to see that. They want to see growth and prosperity, and you get that by opening up. And so what you got now is a stock market that's looking at a very significant gain in the middle of the evening, even though so many races are just far too close to call. And where in Pennsylvania, as Brett's saying, you're probably going to have to wait until the next couple of days to get a result out of that. Nonetheless, investors like what they see and are pushing stock prices higher at this moment. That could all change, of course. That's what happens on the market. But as of now, investors are putting their money into stocks and stock gains are holding.
Thank you, Stuart.
Stuart,
Great
as
to have you
always,
with
thank
us
you.
tonight.
Here we go.
So the Fox News Decision Desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will defeat President Trump in New Hampshire. Let's put that up and see the impact of that on the overall
Hampshire.
numbers here. Biden 53%, 44% as we
Four
take a look
votes.
at the big picture here. You've got President Trump with 115, Joe Biden with 133. You know, New Hampshire was
You
a
still
state
don't even
that
have
the
Georgia and
president
Florida
lost
called
by-
on there,
It
guys.
was close to 3,000 votes last time around. And we've talked about this, but there were a number of states that early on, the Trump team was looking at as places that they could turn into Trump states, places like New Mexico, Nevada, places like Minnesota and New Hampshire. So this is the first one of those four that we're seeing tonight, and it's clear that Joe Biden is very comfortably holding the lead, even more so than Hillary Clinton did.
And the president made it south in New Hampshire, at least one. I know the vice president went there as well. We're back with our panel.
Yeah, but he didn't know he was in New Hampshire, if you remember.
What are you feeling right now?
A couple of things. The betting odds had once gotten up as high as 78% for Trump. They dialed back to 60 something now at about 70. So he's still a favorite of people who are betting their money tonight.
But put the caveat on that because
yeah, I know, guys. Listen, it's going to be hard for me
casinos
to
have
sit up here
posters than
just
this is
hold this anxiety for hours.
I mean,
I'm waiting for one or two states. And call it my own damn self.
And people in China are worried about the yuan, and the trend is in that direction. Now, look, we got a long way to go tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a minimum, I think it's fair to say that a lot of what
I'm looking at 3 states right now that have definitely gone in Trump's direction that they don't even have remotely called for.
A bunch of these southern states and
Florida +5.
Florida, yeah, exactly. They're off again. And we've been through this before. We all thought, the pollsters who made those projections in the states 4 years ago and got it wrong, so badly wrong would have it figured out by now. Trump may not win, but he certainly made them look bad tonight in a bunch of states, including, as you point out, Florida being one of the main ones.
Yeah, and one thing that seems clear, Dana, is that we talked about the fact that this was either going to be a landslide for Biden.
They already said they've already 96% reporting in Florida.
A really tight race.
They called ones they were only at like 15%.
I think, any idea that there was going to be a blue tidal wave, that is absolutely impossible now, it looks like, and especially because you see North Carolina so close, and if Tillis is able to win his seat there, because think about it, Cal Cunningham, the Democratic challenger, he had a big sex scandal about a month ago on the same day that Tillis comes down with COVID. And what happened? Tillis stepped on the gas in order to campaign. Cunningham really kind of went silent. He didn't want to answer questions or anything. And so it's almost like he sat on that lead and he watched it fade. And to the point about New Hampshire, I had really thought that Trump would be able to win New Hampshire, given that he'd only lost it by 2,700 votes. And there was so much enthusiasm up there for him. But think about what the campaign manager, Bill Stepien, did for President Trump. Takes a look at that and says, that might not work. But where did they focus? Way down in Florida. And you think about Donna Shalala, who was the former Secretary of Health and Human Services, and then she's a congresswoman. She lost her seat tonight, the Democrat. And Maria Salazar, the Republican challenger, is going to pick up that seat. Now, can they replicate that kind of support from Latinos and Cubans from that Miami-Dade area across other places? Possibly so. And that could be a big difference maker between when some of these states come down to the wire like they are.
Juan, your thoughts?
Well, I'm curious. I mean, I think the pollsters told us early on we would see what they call blue haze or blue mist or red mist and red haze.
No, red mirage.
as we
Purple haze is
well, it's different haze. But
sounds like a stripper.
No, it sounds like Jimi Hendrix.
Wait a second.
But it's not even but the point that I'm trying to make is mail-in ballots. I still am at a puzzle as to when that cache of votes gets counted. And we have not been accounting for that. Now, the projection...
What do you mean we haven't been accounting for?
Well,
we
the
haven't those races.
Right, that's why. But if you could think about the clear direction of this night in the direction of President Trump, it would seem to me that you would also say, well, gee, turnout seems to have gone up on both sides. And the president's strategy was to have big vote tonight, election night, for him. And we may be seeing some of that reflected. The question is then, where are those mail-in ballots? Did they exist if, in fact, turnout is up, as we believe, on both the Republican and Democratic side?
Right, and I still think that there was a question in some of these states about the absentee ballots that have not come back.
Yeah.
And we're talking about tens of thousands of them, and the difference in the vote is less than that.
Correct, and that's why it's this night, to me, feels like that, Chris, that purple haze.
Okay, all right.
It's so hard to fall asleep.
I feel like I'm not sure what's going on, but I do think
I'm excited, but I'm still like overwhelmed from this whole day, and I just want to wake up and. But at the same time, I remember last year watching Trump dance with Melania at 3 in the morning while Hillary Clinton was getting drunk, throwing herself in a hotel.
Biden victory is off
in the whole
board,
world
but
were
that was
crying.
one of
All the
three
liberals were
scenarios. The other
crying.
scenario was a narrow Biden win and
I don't
a
want to miss
narrow
that.
Trump win, and those both are still
I know.
absolutely
Yeah,
open.
exactly.
And,
That's
know,
what I'm saying.
while
We gotta
it
lock
sure
this
looks
up.
like Biden is going to lose Florida, the fact that the Fox News decision team hasn't called Florida yet says to me, maybe it's a small margin, but it's still up for grabs. The fact that North Carolina is too close to call, that Georgia is, because of irregularities. We haven't really gotten anything firm on Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin or Arizona. Basically, if it were a tennis match, I'm now going to switch from each side is holding serve. And they're winning the states they were expected to win, and the states that were up for grabs are still up for grabs. I think
the up for grabs
story
are
this
already
night is really not been told.
Biden was,
which is exactly what we were told.
wait a
from the
minute,
very
that's a
beginning.
bullshit. I hate Chris Wallace, how he bullshits everything, sugarcoats everything. Listen, Joe Biden was projected to be winning the ones that he's winning by huge margins, guys, and he's barely eking them out. That's the difference. Again, the pollsters were wrong.
To sort of go slowly and be patient and wait for these waves. This is an unprecedented situation to have 100 million early votes that need to be counted. They're paper, they've got to be opened up and all of that. Just with regard to Georgia, Fulton County is now going to stop counting at 10:30 p.m. and will resume their count at tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
So don't expect,
So that's Pennsylvania and Georgia.
That's Georgia
that we're not
and
going to get any answer
yeah,
from
no
tonight.
Philadelphia count, no Fulton County count until tomorrow. So those are huge chunks of votes in both of those states.
But if Trump
So we got
pulls
North
far enough
Carolina,
ahead, it
Pennsylvania,
won't matter.
Iowa seem to be toss-ups still at this hour, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
And we still haven't called Florida, right?
We have not.
So
But, you know,
basically,
somebody on this
we're gonna
list
end
is
up
Florida,
holding
but
our
they have to
hand
take
over
it
our
back.
ass at the end of the night, just like we all planned. Is that what's gonna happen, John?
I think we might have
We're still reeling from it.
Yeah,
And-
PA stopped
and-
counting.
And the call turned out to be right, didn't it?
It did.
Because of a water main break.
37 days.
I'm just
Just
joking.
took them a few days to
37 days
catch up to
later,
you.
it turned out right.
It was right all wrong.
All right, 4 more states closing at the polls in coming minutes. We'll have some new info on the other side of the break. And as Democrats hold on to their majority in the House,
Republicans are looking to hold their majority in the Senate. We're going to take a look at where some of those hotly contested races, very interesting night for these Senate races, that is next.
All right. One more couple things here. Let's see. All right. Let's move on for a minute. Let's try it. I'm getting I'm seeing double in numbers, so I want to go take a break and relax a little. Go see Steven, laugh a
Because
little.
I want to actually
Oh,
save
Megyn
seniors'
Kelly, I
lives,
love
so I
her.
said yes, but then he didn't even ask me about that. So screw that guy.
I'm so over them, honestly. It's like the mainstream press is so dishonest. I just find it so disgusting. It's like, I always laugh because even now they'll introduce me because, of the way I left NBC. And it's like, well, let's talk about these Halloween costumes. And are they really offensive? And when did that happen?
I just assumed it was because
Now I
Jane
have to be
Fonda's a bitch,
introduced
but
as
yes.
The controversial Megyn Kelly. I'm like, I don't hear you introducing Jimmy Kimmel as the controversial Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. All these people have actually worn blackface so many times I can't count.
Right.
Like the press is so dishonest, Stephen. I really think that's part of what we're watching tonight.
Yeah.
Did the press manage to take down Donald Trump? Did they do it because they were his number one opponent? Unlike Joe Biden, they didn't stay in the basement. They were out shooting at him from hour one of his presidency.
Yeah.
Not to mention before. And did they manage to kill him? Because I'll tell you something, they managed to kill themselves during
Hang on, guys, sorry.
Once weekly,
Something else just came on.
blood
I forgot to shut this down. Yes, Kate, you have to turn that one down before you can turn the other one on.
First 4 years. They're dead. Journalism is over as we knew it. Legacy media.
You're fired forever. You had him up +8, dummies. All right, Megyn Kelly, we must go. It's the Megyn Kelly Show. I will be on there this week, and I will let people know to tune in. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You look lovely. We must go.
Thank you. Good to see you. Bye, guys.
Good to see you. We are back with any updates that I missed while that was going on. And guys, just feel free to shout them out.
Not a whole lot, yeah. So we got a little bit of improvement in Michigan. The numbers continue to trend upward. I think I am going to lose my prediction on that.
Yeah.
predict that I lose.
You think Donald Trump's going to win Michigan?
My prediction, but I'm telling
Reg,
you,
is there the Bandit? Is there any reason
he's going to lose his prediction?
Yeah, he said Michigan was going to lose. He said Trump was going to lose Michigan. I know, it's my show.
No,
little shit.
No, I'm saying Trump might win Michigan.
All right, I'll check it out in a minute.
Dad, you keep on treating me like I'm a little kid.
Come on, man.
Come on.
I'm moving out. So this is what we're hearing in kind of the meltdown.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
The
it.
polls just opened in California and Joe Biden won. Yeah.
I just want everybody to be able to have fun and
No, we're hearing from a lot of folks.
not stress too much about
there's
switching
definitely
stuff around,
meltdowns
enjoy
going
each
on
other's
on the
company
left
for the
about what
night.
states are happening and kind of looking down like what are the very few paths and kind of narrowing it down to if Biden were to somehow come back, take Michigan, take Wisconsin, he can lose Pennsylvania.
Hey, heads up really quick. Anybody that's able to screen record that 3 minutes of my video earlier of what happened to me at the polls and share it on Facebook, let me know. Hi, Bree Bree. Yeah, I think Trump can get PA, but they're not going to call it tonight. PA stopped counting for the evening. They're not going to resume counting until tomorrow. And so is Fulton County, Georgia. But anyway, totally lost it. I lost it. It's gone. See, this is how you know it's too late for Kate.
You know how much of that is coming in from Wayne County?
Here we go. Here's Pennsylvania,
because
guys.
That's Detroit, Flint area, or which I don't know if Flint is Wayne or if it's Macomb, but people in Michigan, you can let me know. Depends on how much is coming. In other words, if this is coming in where there's a significant amount of the urban vote, and I would imagine that of all the states where you're going to get more urban vote for Donald Trump tonight, it'd be Michigan and Ohio, because you do have a lot of black Americans who work on those assembly lines, the auto manufacturing, who are in that Rust Belt. And of course, you have a lot of black Americans there who, frankly, just support Donald Trump. He had a 46% job approval rating.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. Do we have any ideas?
Pull up the sort of spread there from Politico.
Okay.
And I will also say that the New Hampshire was called for Biden. That was a thing after, but that's not a surprise. So if you can see there,
And let me know, guys, if Don Jr. tries to call in or when. Let's make sure we have anyone else. Will just shut him out for Don Jr. Sorry, Kumi and Linda.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, it looks like we're still lacking some results from Lansing there.
Thank you.
Lansing is definitely left, but Lansing is not
They're
as
all
popular. Can you zoom in
results,
for that for me? Is there any way to zoom in at all? Do we know if that is, if we can go to the map, if that is Detroit? So is most of the vote coming in from Detroit already in Wayne County?
Let's see if we
can get
his overall lead, by the way, in Michigan, 230.
Keep it in your mind. Keep it in the back of your head, Bree, that we just had that 57,000 people at that rally in PA. We got it. I just got it in my heart that the reason they're even holding off counting is because they're struggling to figure out how can we cheat him, because that attorney general already said Trump's not going to win. When we're done counting votes, he's not going to win. So I feel like they're holding on to it. But at the end of the day, I think the people came out as strong as they did to prove a point that you can only hold on to so much. Like when we come out this many, millions more than that came out in 2016.
Sure. Because Lansing isn't as big of a city as people think. Now, that's one thing, too. People think of Trump voters as bumpkins, as country folk. No. Suburbs and mid-sized cities, you still get a lot. For example, in Ohio, you get areas like Youngstown and Steubenville. Yeah. Places that still have old school Main Street. Kind of think of the city in Slapshot, right, with Paul Newman. Those places still tend to be red. The places that tend to be blue are big cities like New York and San Francisco, where people are entirely dependent on the government for everything.
Right.
Think about it. If there's a natural disaster at all in New York or in California, you are 100% dependent on the government for transit, for food, and there are shortages all the time. So it's not just Farmer Brown and Mr. Urban Elite.
Now we're seeing reports that there was a record turnout in Detroit, right? So you're seeing a lot of votes that are coming there. But I think the point you made earlier is very important to remember, which is the number of folks that were just kind of counted as votes in the bag in the black community by Democrats. But look at the history, right? I mean, everyone who's looking at Detroit is looking
Idaho,
there's some positive things here happening. It's not, completely and utterly a barren wasteland. But there's a lot of things that need improvement. And when you look around and you look for Whitmer
coming
on
in
down, you go, I feel like we should change something here. What would be the thing? Should we get rid of the great people? Should we get rid of the great enforcement? Or maybe we should change the politicians who haven't done anything.
All
And
right,
again,
I'm
we
gonna
get
change it
back
back
to
to
that
Fox
question of,
News real
are
quick,
people-
guys, so you guys can watch this coming in real quick.
Pay for what they need. Got it?
It's not back yet. Hold on.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty. CoQ10 is the #1 cardiologist recommended health supplement for people taking cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. I recommend CoQ10 because it has 3 times better absorption than regular CoQ10. Cunol is the brand I trust.
Oh, now it comes back on.
Back here on election
Only
night, let's go
15%
back to Bill Hemmer with a look
New
at where
York.
we stand right now. A lot of places we're still waiting for.
I tell you, there is so much action
Here
on
we
this
go.
board. I'll just give a spin here in
Still too
Pennsylvania
close to call
I
right
mentioned a
now.
few
Are you
moments
kidding me,
ago that
John?
The Trump team thinks
Oh.
that the blue collar worker is coming home in Pennsylvania, northeastern
All
corner
right,
of the
John,
state.
you got
There is some
you're in charge
evidence
for
that's
5 minutes. I'll be right
although
back.
it's
I gotta go
still
get
a little bit
another
early here. Lackawanna County, just keeping an eye on it because it's gotten so much attention with Scranton, PA. Joe Biden was there. Donald Trump has been there as well. So you can pop around right here. Luzerne is one of the counties that the president flipped in Pennsylvania in 2016 with an edge over Joe Biden there. So just watching all this now develop, Pittsburgh in the west and Philadelphia down here in the southeast. There are at least 6 counties, by the way, I think it's 7 total, that have said they will not count mail ballots tonight. And all those counties were won easily by Donald Trump in 2016. Not a ton of votes here, but they go right along the border here with Ohio. Greene County is going to wait till tomorrow. Beaver County is going to wait as well. Mercer County also, where it's 73% of the vote in that county. So you're going to see a little of this action tomorrow roll in from some of these counties that said, we don't have enough poll workers to run the booths today to make sure that the vote goes smoothly. And that's why they said we're going to punt on the mail ballots until tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mentioned the blue collar worker. I think this is fascinating, guys. We talked about it earlier. Just want to double back a little bit to a moment here in northeastern Ohio. Here's what I want to show you. Okay, wow. It just changed yet again. In 2016, we knew Trump was in the game when northeastern Ohio was flipping. From 2012, it was all Democrat. 2016, the president flipped these counties. In 2020, look where they are again. Here was the point now, okay? Up here in Ashtabula County, president's got 60% of the votes. 4 years ago, same number here, he had 60% of the votes. 2020 down here in Trumbull County, 54.6. 4 years ago, he's outperforming his number from 4 years ago. What does that mean? That means that blue collar Democrats who crossed over and voted for President Trump are still with him in 2020. So you can make the case now, if these voters are with him on the eastern border of Ohio, so too are the same in Pennsylvania on the other side of the border there. And that is something that will play out in days to come, guys.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, let's go live now to Columbia, South Carolina. Winning Republican Senator Lindsey Graham speaking in his acceptance speech, defeating Democrat Jamie Harrison, who spent $104 million in that race. Let's listen.
Charleston. We're not going to forget about the blocking and tackling of politics. I will never take my eye off the ball of taking care of the state interest in Washington. Now, I also want to find common ground where I can. Aren't you glad that this election's coming to an end? I've had 2 calls already. One from President Trump. He's going to win. He is going to win. To all the pollsters out there, you have no idea what you're doing. And to all the liberals in California and New York, you wasted a lot of money. This is the worst return on investment in the history of American politics. I got a call from Mr. Harrison. Jamie, thank you. He was very gracious. He created an incredible campaign for the first time he's ever run for office. He raised more money than anybody in the history of the United States Senate. I think had a lot to do with that. But Jamie, I appreciate the phone call. I will do my best to unite us where I can. You're a good father. You're a good husband. You're a good man. And I look forward to working with you where I can. And congratulations to all the people who worked on your behalf. Now, this is the thank you time, and I'll try to not keep us here forever. But I've got so many people to thank from the day I got in this business until now. I am the least self-made man in politics. So, Governor, thank you for introducing me everywhere we went. I'm gonna steal all of your jokes. And the Lieutenant Governor, and we just were a great team. But I'm gonna start with my family behind me. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you very much, sweetheart.
Oh, there's Senator Graham. Nice.
Your ad made me cry. That's
Florida's
about the
coming.
only ad that I would watch,
he
but I
is
couldn't get
crying.
through that one. But Larry and Emily and Nicole, you have my heart to my end. Verna Mae and Neil can't be with us, thinking about y'all. To the Ball family, you're very much my family. This journey started in House District 2 in 1992, where Denise ran my first campaign, and we put the kids in a wagon with Greg, and we knocked on doors, and damn if we didn't win. And everything has just been an incredible ride since. Without what you did for me then in my first congressional race and my first Senate race, there would be no
I love
Lindsey
Lindsey.
Graham.
Lindsey's
So
been a
thank you
little
all
funny
very
over the
much.
last couple of years, but he really pulled his shit together.
She passed the baton
during this
to
Trump
Scott
administration.
Farmer, who is the best campaign
Polls are
manager
closed
in
in
the
30 seconds. There's one, next poll is closed in 30 seconds, right? Is that the last one? Oh, yeah.
He's a terrific campaign manager. He's a better father. He's a better husband. He's a better friend. I have the best campaign in the history of South Carolina.
A very relieved Senator Lindsey Graham speaking about his victory, reaching out a hand to his opponent, Jamie Harrison, who spent $103 million that went into that race on his behalf. It is now 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The polls have been closed
I'm
in
paying
4 more
attention.
states. The Fox News decision desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden
Jason,
will decisively beat
you put him
President
over
Trump
the
in
top.
California, which is a 55 electoral vote haul.
Of course.
Huge number there. Joe Biden will also win the adjacent state of Oregon, according to our Fox
Okay,
News
those are
voter
givens.
analysis.
Rounding out the Pacific Northwest, Biden will defeat Trump in the state of Washington, but
Okay.
in next door Idaho,
We got
President
it.
Trump will easily defeat the former vice president.
So let's bring our panel back in with us this evening. Get a look around at how things are standing. Dana,
call
Perino,
Texas?
what are you watching? What's standing out to you at this point?
Okay, so in the
Oh, I know.
re-elections
California is
for
disgusting.
Bush and Obama,
They need to break
at
it
the
up.
very tail end of those campaigns, they were able to get to like a 2.1% little burst. And you wonder if President Trump, in his amazing rush all across the country and all of those rallies and all of that work he did, did
That's
that
right.
help him get that 2.1% or so, that little push that might help put him over the edge.
You guys remember, don't get disheartened. New York and California and all that have been called for. Look at all the ones that have it that we know are Trump. Florida, Georgia, Texas, North Carolina,
being closed.
Michigan,
To Stuart
Wisconsin.
Brown's point,
They're
the
all
taxes
going
and the
towards Trump.
401k.
Ohio's in a,
Also, one of the things
I
that
mean,
showed
come on.
research in the
Those are
last
all
few
going to
months
be
is
red,
that
so
cancel
don't get
culture
disheartened.
was a really big deal for some of these
I
suburban
really
parents.
believe
and
that.
I wonder if some of that is starting to show up tonight.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
Jason,
watching
he's a
that.
good guy.
And I also feel
He didn't
like
let them
the
play
Democrats
that Me
put
Too
so
bullshit
much
on
money
Kavanaugh. I will always
into
respect
races
him for
were
that.
Probably fool's gold for them. If you think about Jamie Harrison in South Carolina. Now, he's a bright young person. I'm excited to see where his future lies. He's going to do some pretty amazing things. But he wasn't going to beat Lindsey Graham, and for $100 million in South Carolina. Amy McGrath, another $100 million in Kentucky. You think maybe they should have put that money someplace else. Last thing I'll mention that I'm looking at, the DCCC chair.
TM, I have no idea. I
Sheriff
know
Bustos
exactly in
Illinois.
certain
He
places
has
they're
pretty
supposed to
tough
have
race.
sheriffs
Usually the
watch them,
chairmans
but
of
who
those committees
knows?
have
Hi,
tough races.
Kendra. Nice to have you
And
here.
Just looking at it right now, she's a little bit behind.
Nice to see
That's interesting.
everybody.
Let's do some Senate races real quick. Put up, if we could, the balance of power in the Senate. Again, we started the night 53-47 with Republicans controlling.
Spend a minute. Spend a
over
minute. I'm
Democrats.
getting back in the
Democrats
swing
had
of
to pick up
things,
a net
though.
4 seats or 3 plus the White House. And here we have, it's kind of populating as we go along. I haven't asked specifically for these races, so.
Yeah, but that's because he got California, Bree. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Remember, that's what I'm saying. It's just California. California and New York were given. Just like when they count Texas and Florida, Trump's going to get a nice big bump. But they're waiting until the very last second because I don't know why. I feel like they're afraid to call the ones for Trump out of fear that they're going to get called fake news.
Yeah, that would be interesting. First of all, a lot of people think John James is a rising star in the party.
Yeah, I don't know how they're protecting him overnight, but it might be a sheriff.
For the Senate against Gary Peters. So, one, if he wins, it would be.
How's everything in your end of the neck of the woods there, Kendra?
Senator John James, if he wins,
staying safe.
To which it would make the Democrats' chances of taking over control of the Senate.
I had a crazy voting experience today. If you're interested, go check out my live from earlier. It's the first 5 minutes of it. It'll blow your mind.
So the 53
in this little area that I voted, I can't believe they treated me the way they did over wearing my Trump hat and my Trump shirt.
Can now project that President Donald Trump will win the state of Florida, 29 electoral
Bingo!
Votes, and he will win it
Bam!
convincingly.
What was that?
51.3 and 47.
It only took 97% of the vote before they finally called it.
Joe Biden, respectively. Joe Biden spent a fair amount of time in Florida.
Bye, Biden.
Huge press in Florida.
Okay, John, that's one. We got. No, I know I can't get my Pennsylvania answered tonight, so we got to focus on Michigan and Wisconsin. And you know what, Jason? I'm so embarrassed to say I don't know. I think it's in Montana.
Cuban Americans, a lot has been said about his effort to reach them with stories about socialism and the prospect for a more socialistic.
He should have got the Peace Prize is what he should have got as well for making that Mideast peace agreements. We don't even live in the States.
Residents in the state of Florida. So,
I always, that's so crazy. I always assumed that well, that's not true because Nicola comes in the morning and she's from UK. Most of my people from other countries they don't come in the night, they come in the morning.
And it's very representative in many ways.
Diaper boys in bed. Oh yeah, you know Joe's taking a nap.
Of course, we got a lot of people who went there.
Yeah.
To get away from
Canadians, yes.
So
you're right, they are.
How much the Democrats
because
in the state of Florida will
they're so. I mean, like, you can't. I hate to say it, but really, any type of mess that happens here, Civil War wise, a lot of stuff overflows into Canada.
Meaningful, big way.
South Dakota. There you go, Tara. Boy, I feel like a read.
Everybody thought, I guess, that
yes, Florida is for Trump
in Florida than he had before. But
right. Well, yeah. But what scares? What's even worse? We can have all the guns in the world, but they've been limiting our ammo, and we've had to stock up for months and months and months on ammo. What if you weren't somebody that knew that they were going to limit and run out of ammo right before all this?
Presidential race, the Senate will be critical.
You got fur babies too.
If Joe Biden wins, in my opinion, if Joe Biden wins, it will be a benefit to him if the Democrats don't get the Senate. And the reason I say that is that Biden will be under tremendous pressure from his party's left wing to act out the agenda that he agreed to with Bernie Sanders. Biden, by temperament and instinct, I think won't particularly want to do that.
No, but he will. He'll do it.
He's not the strongest guy that ever.
Not at all.
And he will be under terrible. If his party has control of everything, I think he'll be powerless to resist that. If, however, the Republicans hold the Senate and will block
I lay me
that,
down to sleep. I pay my
I think that will
AR-15.
leave him in better position going forward. The other side of that story is that if Trump wins and the Democrats control the Senate, then it will be pretty stymied there between the House and the Senate for him going forward, and that would be true even.
No, he ain't giving Bernie no cabinet position. You know that. That was just a way to get him to sell out.
What the next 2 years are going to look like, a lot will depend on how
President Trump.
But they had to get Tulsi out of there first because they knew they couldn't get Tulsi to agree to it.
That we've seen from the House across both houses, and it's pointing out as well.
Gridlock, which people may like.
Yeah, with Florida, Florida was a must-win state for President Trump.
That's right.
So he has checked that box successfully, and as we begin the process here of going through these battlegrounds.
No Republican has won the White House.
Pennsylvania, we won't know until tomorrow. Wisconsin, we need now.
Early in the evening, I was talking about Latino vote.
If we can get most of Pennsylvania in, are they just done reporting it all?
worse, 10 points worse in Miami-Dade. And tonight, Donald Trump went 10 points lower than that. I mean, so the Latino vote has gone for Donald Trump in an astounding way, to my mind, but it's concentrated in Miami-Dade among those Cuban American voters.
Because they don't want communism.
Florida, you would see
They've
Latino
lived
men,
communism.
59-39 Biden, women 64-30.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wisconsin's already going that way, and
as I'm trying
I'm
to
pretty
explain,
sure, like I said,
those
they haven't
numbers
even,
are 10%
Texas hasn't been counted yet.
lower than what
Wisconsin,
Hillary
there's like,
Clinton
we've got some
So
big
they-
electoral
actually, Donald Trump did better
delegates
here in
numbers
this
still to
race than
get.
he did in 2016 in those races. The other point that strikes me at this juncture in the evening, Martha, is if you're thinking about Pennsylvania and Michigan as outstanding at this point, that the votes are not being counted, we're really getting into the issue of whether or not how the courts are going to deal with this, which votes are going to be counted, which votes are not going to be counted. Previous court decisions that left Pennsylvania, for example, able to count votes 3 days after the election day.
Can I pick up on that? Because Jackie Heinrich, our very able reporter covering Joe Biden, says that the Biden campaign is now saying this could well come down to counting the votes in those upper Midwest states, Pennsylvania. I kind of am taking it from the east of the Midwest, Michigan and Wisconsin. And Bob Bauer, who's the general counsel of the Biden campaign, is already beginning to talk about lawsuits.
Good,
and the fact
okay,
that
John.
The
Paying
Trump
attention.
campaign has tried to block some of the voting post-election in Pennsylvania.
Yes,
They've
Kendra, I've
lost
actually seen
so
it.
far, but the president talked about that a lot
It's
on
scary.
the campaign trail. What he said was a terrible decision by the Supreme Court to allow counting of the ballots after election day in Pennsylvania. That will end up back in the courts, and you now have a different court because Amy Coney
John
Barrett
is
going to be
amazing.
on there. She wasn't making
This
those
isn't his
decisions in
first
the
go
first
around.
place. So because
He
she
knows
wasn't on
how
the
it's going
court
to
yet.
go.
So, as
He's
much
just,
as we
he
don't
cuts
want it
through
to
the
happen,
bullshit.
a lot of this may be litigated in the court.
Because all the rest of this is
Listen, you've got
bullshit, so you
Pennsylvania,
guys
you've got
keep
North Carolina,
watching.
you've got
Like,
Ohio.
it
Ohio's
just,
starting
he's
to
telling
look a
you
little bit better
exactly
for
how the
President
numbers
Trump.
come
North
in
Carolina
every
seems like it's
election.
looking a little bit better for Joe Biden. But again, it's early.
The
Pennsylvania
only difference is we had this early vote count from the mail-in vote and the early voting that was different from other
not just
times.
ads, but actual time.
Absolutely.
Going there.
Absolutely. The Biden was there. What was it? Thursday? I think Thursday this week. Obama went down on Monday. And, looking at this number,
Yes,
Hillary
solid win
Clinton
for
lost
Trump.
Florida 4 years ago by 1.2 points. Trump tripled his margin over Biden as to what he had
And
beaten.
Chris, if you were trying to pick out a state where people would be most concerned about coronavirus, Florida with a heavy senior population would seem to be that state.
That's right.
And obviously, that's an issue that we all believe cut heavily.
But the
in
governor
favor of Joe
didn't
Biden.
put
And
those
yet Trump
seniors
carries the
back
state
in
and does
nursing
better than he did
homes.
4
They
years
actually
ago.
had a plan to
I'm now
get them
gonna
out of
myself in
nursing
trouble
homes.
with
They
the
opened up
Fox
all
voter
different
analysis,
kinds of
'cause we've been
places
looking
for
at this
them.
all night. And the
Unlike
Fox News voter
Governor Cuomo.
analysis tends to
Trump
show
knows if he won
that,
Florida,
the women,
he was
big margin
taking this
for
election. So now
Biden,
he's just going to
men
sit
much
back
more close.
and
So,
watch
if
the
you
numbers
look at
come
these
in.
numbers, it would seem in almost every state that Biden was headed for victory. The actual votes haven't counted it, which makes me think that a poll is one thing, an actual turnout on election day is a different one. And that, as we've pointed out before, that the ground game of the get out the vote operation of the Trump campaign has really come to their
It also
president's
raises
advantage.
the question, Chris, don't you think, that some of these people may have been among those who were shy Trump voters, including women, who didn't want to tell anybody they were going to vote for Trump? Because among women, he was thought to be unpopular, and he was thought to have offended more women than he ever did men, and men liking him better. So
Which, Dana, may be more of an issue this time than even in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I think for everybody, right? I mean, a lot of people just didn't want to say anything at all. Though I think that, President Trump solidified.
Loving you guys. Just didn't offend me at all.
Laura Trump and the folks on the campaign, Kimberly Guilfoyle, you think Mercedes Schlapp, they had that whole Women for Trump, and they made a concentrated effort. They knew they weren't going to win all women. They knew they were going to lose a significant amount. But it'll be interesting to pick through all the bones and see how that
162 now for Trump, yes, and 130 for Biden. There you go.
Worried about children and not being able to go back to school, seeing them lose an entire year of interaction with their friends, not being able to do their sports, possibly losing ground on a competitive level
Yes.
when we're in a very competitive
And
world.
Trump
and
wants
they're
those
worried about that,
children back
maybe
in
that
their
might have
normal
something to do with
life,
it.
and
it's
that's what
possible
these
that those
mothers,
things,
you
and we're only
think,
looking at one of these battleground states so far,
most,
in Florida.
I know as a
But it's
conservative
possible
mother,
that, you know,
that's what I
when you
want.
look at that, the
I want my
incumbency
daughter to
also
have the
plays
most
a role.
normal high
It's
school
hard-
experience
It is very
possible.
hard to beat an incumbent. The only time it's happened in, you know, recent history.
I'm more
Ronald
afraid of my
Reagan
daughter
built
getting
an
the flu than I
enormous
am of her
personalities,
getting corona.
able to totally change the dynamic
Dead
of the
ass.
presidential race and get voters to say, I'm going to leave this person behind and switch gears and go with this person. So